Welcome to the closing show. It's going to be tough to top the midday show. Unbelievable job. I just want to I'll give my slow clap to the entire crew. Shout out to Tony the Tiger. Shout out to Luca. Shout out to Brandon. Shout out to Ian. They did a fantastic job filling in. We're going to bring you the last 2 hours as best we can to follow that one up. And you know what? It's always easier when the market is strong, and that's exactly what we're looking at here. Big bounce back in tech. The NASDAQ up 1.4%, leading the charge. You got the Dow and the S&P 0.6 and 0.7% to the upside. Everyone should be happy to see Bitcoin and Ethereum both up 3%. Crude oil having a fantastic day as well, up 3%. It is a pretty big story. If you have a look at the travel sector when we go to the big board here, I mean, absolutely crushing it and leading the way. AAL up 10%. LUV, Southwest, up almost 7%. Keep in mind, it was Delta that reported their fantastic earnings this morning. And lots of positive comments from the CEO on their call. Delta actually up just under 6% now with a bit of a bounce late in the day. UAL as well, rounding out the group of 5%. You're going to see even the cruise lines with strong gains here today. CCL 5%. NCLH going to be up 6%. You know, the hotels doing well. Expedia made a move 4%. Wynn, MGM, Caesars all up 3 to 5%. It is just a strong day all around. You're not going to really find too much to hate on here. However, we're going to talk about them a little bit later. PayPal did lose their CFO to Walmart, and you're going to see them down a full 4%. Oddly enough, in the other direction is going to be Block. Block with a strong move this afternoon, something we will be mentioning. JPM did not have a good day, despite what was pretty solid earnings all around. I mean, there was a slight miss on EPS. We'll get into that as well. But JPM down 3% on the session. You have seen some good strength in the materials. Sean will be happy to see that Nucor up 2.7%. They're not going to get left out, not on a day like today. And you will see two big names in pharmaceuticals here. Overall, some of the group had pulled back. AbbVie down 4.5% on a day where the vaccine names are all booming. Moderna up 7%. Not going to be on the board here, but NVAX also making some strong moves. Very, very strong day overall in the market. It's hard to complain about it. We jump over into the NASDAQ, and you're going to see a lot of chip strength, right? Marvell up 4%. NVIDIA up 2%, and we'll get to AMD in a sec, up 2%. ASML also up 3%. So suppliers doing pretty well there. Stay-at-home names, growth names, they're not left out. Zoom 7%, Crowd 6.5%, DocuSign and Datadog up 5.5% each. Even some of the Chinese retail names, U.S.-listed Chinese retail names doing strong. Pinduoduo up 7%. JD.com up 2.5%. Airbnb, Booking, Lulu. I mean, it's just fun to be able to talk about a market which is pretty much all to the green. It's easy to say. It puts a smile on your face. But the thing that we always have to do is boil down to the trading. It's about what were the opportunities out there, how can we learn from them. We're happy to have Sean here once again to talk about one of his trading opportunities this morning and show you what he was getting at.
Yo, what's up? Yeah, look, a big day trading once again today. And we're just going to go back to the well. And the important thing here is preparation. We always talk about that. It's going to be preparation. It's going to be patience. Those are two things that I'm really striving to get better on every single day. I think the preparation's been really good. It's just the patience. And I'm going to highlight right now, shout out to Sticky Note Nation, everybody that checks out my Twitter every single day there. Or just go to @tradertv.live, @tradertvsean. You'll be able to see the sticky note. And right here, I mean, it's as easy as said. AMD still looking weak, right? AMD will be looking to continue, something I can't read my own writing, to continue the short anywhere near 98 on any bumps, anywhere near 98 on a bump. Okay, so we'll get rid of that. And now we'll discuss about why we thought 98 was going to be so key. Well, first of all, it's just some of these highs into here. We saw it make a couple attempts to try to get back to 98 yesterday on a fail, and then a drop back down. And then we just had some consolidation back here a couple days ago around the 98 mark. Obviously, we hit 100 and started to fall back down. So I was just like, you know what? I couldn't see AMD getting back to 100 today. So I really wanted to start to build the short around 98 because that would give me a little bit of pressure if it was trying to go up to 100. Now, I wouldn't have held it for $2 against me, but I just feel like that 100, there's some sort of a magnet there. So let's see. On a bump, if we get to 98, let's just react and see how that trade pans out. Today, we didn't have any problems with that, so let's review what we were doing here. Well, we got a little carried away off the open, and I'll tell you why. This is the 98 level up here. We're going to talk about some of these shorts, which you can see obviously paid quite a lot. In here, we saw early on at about 10 o'clock, this is 97. Look at all of these tops that were made here. So we were like, you know what? Let's take a short early. Maybe we're about $1 late on this move. Maybe it's going to be 97. That's the top. Because as we opened up, we kept ticking 97. Look at this, back down to 95.50s. So there's like $1.50 worth of up and down there. Look how choppy this is. So it doesn't quite have its range. But then all of a sudden, the NASDAQ started to go to the upside. And this is that bump that we were waiting for. So here's shorts and here's outs. Okay, once we actually took down 97, we got out there. So we actually were flat or slightly down, slightly up on that first take. We did go long and took 40 cents on the long, but this is where it really gets exciting. We let it come back up to the upside. We should have shorted it early when we saw 98, but we're in other trades, plus the market's going up, plus maybe AMD's strong today, right? 1.76%. It's actually outpacing the NASDAQ. So we're like, okay, let's wait to see if 98 is going to hold. Well, as soon as we get that confirmation with, once, twice, 3 times, we're like, you know what, let's go again. And if you can see here on the 20-minute chart, that 98 line, we drew it perfectly. It's actually 98.20. That wasn't going to be my out, but as you can see right here today, that's actually the high of the day. Goes back to yesterday as well. So sometimes zooming out does pay that, those dividends, as we say. Comes back in. We take the first piece out here at view up, which is 97.80. So that's like 20 cents. This is absolutely nothing. Then another piece out as we get into this consolidation. Then this happens, and this is where I give a big shout out to Arun and everybody that helps, even you guys on the chat, Neil, Brendan, everybody. And that is just that consolidations right there. So normally I'm like getting out and getting frustrated, but instead I'm like letting this happen because we've already seen some action around this level. When it starts to break down, we're like yippee, and it starts to go. Then we get out near view up at that time, 97. So right now we're taking 80 cents, 90 cents, $1 on this trade. And then we get the booyah, downward break. These are all for you, Fahad, by the way. Then we get the downward break right here into 96, into 96.80, basically that same high again of the day. So we're starting to take it out at past support, right? Well, past resistance, now turning into support. And that's exactly what happens. It goes back to the upside. But then we say, okay, sir, we'll have more. And then we get more short into this area again before it falling back down and completely crashing, coming back into there. Yeah, like Zeke Elliott. I see you there, Neil. As we go to the downside there, 96 out, 97 coming back in. Looks like it's working against me right now, but we still have the short on AMD. The bottom line on this trade of the day is try to be patient. Try to stick with your pre-done preparation because if you don't believe in your own trades, then you're not going to be able to scale up. You're not going to be able to find the trade tomorrow. So that's what it's all about. Figure out your strengths and weaknesses. Find names that you like and why you like them. Pick the spots and hit them when they're there.
And that's what it's all about. I was doing this the whole time. It's like eat, right? Ezekiel. I don't even like Dallas, by the way, but I'll throw it out there anyways because it was a lot of fun to do that review. So thank you, Sean. Every single day, it's about what moves. It's about finding those ideas. Sean came with AMD because he was prepared. So every single day, we prepare for you our free watch list, watchlist.tradertv.live. You can scan the QR code as well to see what is flying. And that's my terrible segue over to what has been leading the sector. We talked about this just at the beginning of the show this morning and here in the afternoon, and it was Delta earnings, man. Delta started this off with a loss, but it was a smaller loss than expected. They talked about returning to profitability in the current quarter, so that's a big step for them. The recovery is 93 to 97% projected in June of pre-pandemic levels. However, Delta having a strong day, but it was American Airlines that said, yeah, thank you very much. We're going to double you up and be up 10%. Breaking out on the daily, we've just gotten a major resistance at $19. But yeah, as excited as we were about Delta this morning, really it was Southwest and then here AAL that really took off and flew.
Yo, first of all, some housekeeping. How good was Tony?
I think we have officially found the guy who should be sitting here. I will see you guys after Thursday. Thank you very much. Tony will be here going forward.
That's completely not true, but such a great job by Tony and group today. So, I mean, I can't start the show without saying shout out to Tony and to Ian, Brendan, Lucas, that were all throwing down, or Luca, sorry, Lucas. Luca, that was all throwing down on our show. So a big shout out and a big thank you to everybody. And thank you to everybody that was watching it. I feel like it was fantastic. People's casting agent is now People's Trader, People's casting agent. I just got to work on you. Got to throw down the.
Good luck with that.
Yeah, I know. All right, let's move on that one. But thank you so much for everybody today, and a big thank you to everybody on that midday show. So we're gonna get that out of the way. But yeah, I mean, Neil, you're 100% right on some of those cheesy jokes as well. But I mean, these things are flying. Like we talked about this earlier. AAL off the Delta news. You know, big time movement to the upside. AAL's a more aggressive stock. It's only $17, $18. So we know that it can also get some social media love into American Airlines. And look at that move, 10% straight to the upside on good Delta earnings. Americans still to come in the week. So we still have a lot to come and see what they're up to. But Delta today, more bookings. They talked about being stronger than it was pre-pandemic. So here we go, man, up 6%. Definite trade opportunities right into here. We'll talk about Facebook, but it's very similar. Once you broke out. Yo, Tony, what's up, man? Great job today. Thanks for that again. Yeah, there's Tony there. He just finished a Mickey of Crown Royal there, so he's back in there right now. But ready to rock and roll. No, Tony was absolutely great. We love Tony. Thank you so much. A star is born, as they say.
Yeah.
But, okay, here's Delta. So I just wanted to say that there was a great trading opportunity. I missed it, but it's this break right here. You barcode, barcode, barcode. You break through that 40-50, and now you're to the upside. Look, they started really well today. I mean, Delta hasn't moved that much today. You see the close yesterday, the bump up, and then actually a fade back down, and we're just going to sort of be where we were at the open. But still, it's really nice to see the strong name here get stronger. Okay, I got to get rid of that. I'll find out how to do that in a minute. Yeah, we don't want to forget about the fact that you're above the 50 period. You're now above the 200 period. And I think it's an all aboard now for the airlines. I've been sort of touting this Jets ETF. Oh, God, how do I get rid of that now? This Jets ETF since we started talking about airlines about 2 or so months ago. And you guys know about that. This is what the move is today. Nice little 5% on the ETF. Again, holding. The holdings are about 10% of the top 5 to 6 airlines there. So if you did think that this is about to pop off, Jets gives you exposure to all. I'm going to get rid of this high-low box here.
All right. In terms of airlines, I mean, we had Delta this morning. I actually probably should show it on this chart here. Delta, we had it earlier around 40. We caught it right off the dip there in the pre-market. Was it even pre-market? It was, yeah, it was pre-market, like 9:15. We got that fill right in front of 40, held onto it for a while, was worried about this 41, and then gave it a chance, took a shot at that 41 around 10:15 in the morning, and came right back down. At that point, I'm like, you know what, I'm done. I want to respect this area. The risk was 2 for 2, so it was $2 to get at least $2. And after this action, I want no part of it. Took my 17 cents, walked away, called it a day. Before we go back to Neil, I want to take care of one super chat that was thrown out to us. Veru. Analysis on Veru. Remember, I had Veru earlier today when I was long 1121, and we were looking at that 12, and then we kept backing off that 12. So I thought, you know what? This was my long at 1121. We had a chance right here around against that 12. I was looking for 1250 exits, and then we backed off that 12. I didn't like the volume. I walked away. Not even a couple minutes after, it takes 12, goes to 1220, comes right back down. As soon as it did it the second time, I'm done with Veru. Pretty much, you take 12 this many times, I want no part of it. Don't get me wrong, there could still be an intraday or multi-day move that takes you higher. But for today's trade and today's action around these price points on Veru, I got to respect what's happening. There's a lot of back and forth, and that gets me not interested in the participation aspect of this stock, right? So if you look at it, let's just go to a 10-minute chart. Look at what you're running into right here. There's a lot of action and volume. The lows were put in the pre-market on the 12th. So yesterday pre-market around here, around that 1250 into 13. So upside is going to be at least 1250 to 13 before you hit resistance again. Then you got to deal with 13.50 to 14. Then you got to deal with 15. There's a lot there. So the risk made sense when it was 11 to 12, 11 risking down to 10. But now at 12, it just gets too pricey. So I'm going to stay away from this. So that's my kind of read on this one there, Nick, for Veru.
Thank you very much, Nick Dubs, for the super chat there. And hey, man, you throw another one, you probably get Tony to analyze it for you because he's taking everybody's job, Sean. I don't know if you see it right now, but Tony is at the desk learning the board from Lucas and Fahad. So I'm sure next he'll be sitting in this seat and want to take Brendan's gig filling in. Now, we're gonna have to jump over to JP Morgan here, and I know we talked about it wasn't that bad earnings, man. You make as much money as those banks are killing it with, and you're gonna be doing pretty well. But some of the comments from Jamie Dimon, I think, may have scared people away. They had the $30 billion buyback, good, but Dimon did say in his comments that the rate of buybacks will be less than in 2021, talking mostly about the overall market. But I think some people reading that is bad for the banks, expecting volatile markets as the Fed shrinks the balance sheet. He didn't expect the U.S. to have a recession this year, but he did preface that with it this year. So it does feel like there was pretty much nothing that J.P. Morgan was going to be able to do here to be able to, I suppose, quell what happened last time through with some of the banks. Overall, down on the session and into the bank earnings that we're going to get 4 more tomorrow. Certainly not a very good start here.
I'll talk about JPM because I actually had JPM shorts this morning, which we got out of, by the way. So I had JPM for a while too. We were working shorts as it was rallying up around right here, around the 128.5 area. I think we had 47s or so. It kept going to 129.40. 129.30-ish, came down all the way down to 126.80, and that's when I said, as long as we get close to the low, I would have actually appreciated if we took out the low, the 126 low, but as long as we got close to the low, south of 127, I was going to start managing this one. For me, I don't need to see it keep bouncing after multiple attempts through 127, especially after the pre-market movement down there. So I held on as long as I possibly can, and then once it bounced right off that 127 back above 128, I called it a day. I'm like, you know what? At this point, I don't need to put up the risk I was going to put up to take that trade. So why not just walk away? Yeah, it's back down towards 127, but having to hold through this entire situation after seeing what's down below 127, to me, doesn't make sense in terms of risk. The read could be there, of course. And of course, as it gets weaker, it makes more sense. But at the same time, that's hindsight, right? In that moment, you've got to respect what the volume is showing you, and the volume was showing you decent 127 strength. So we walked away from JPM just north of 128, walking away with about 45 cents or so in profit on JPM after holding for a decent amount of time. So that was my JPM read on earlier today that I ended up walking away with a profit, obviously not as large as I would have liked.
Yeah, so kind of a tale of two cities here. We talked about this earlier as well, where, I mean, it's nice that we're both, you're net positive on JPM or just?
I'm positive.
Positive, okay, good,
Yeah.
So that's good. So both of us positive on JPM and going different ways. So I think that's, you know, one of the key things here about day trading is I was lucky enough, like, first of all, I went long early, right? I went long at 127. We got that, I mean, 2/3 of that out at 128. So that was about 85 cents worth of a victory right there. Then right off the open, we talked about wanting to defend that 126. So it came in and we got 126.20, of which we got a part out right there for 126.80. So that's 85 cents and another 80 cents right there. So that's $1.60. But then it just kept climbing. And you guys saw this in the show, and that's the frustrating part because Arun and I were sitting here talking about these moves because he was short into it, I was long into it, and I was like, hey, maybe we break and maybe we get, I don't think we got back to positive or anything like that, but you know, maybe we got into this 130 shelf area right there. So not taking the 129, 129.25, something like that, definitely a big mistake. I am still in it though, but the problem is just now, like I was hoping for a VWAP break and then maybe a test, and we're not going to try to get too greedy here about 129, but I'm thinking like we could test this 128.50 again. So we still have 2 hours to go. Is there an opportunity for that to happen? I think so. So that's what we're going to do. We're going to sit here and wait, see if we get that 128.50. If not, it's fine. I mean, we've left this all day, so let's let the trade work a little bit. I still think that there is opportunity here. So, you know, we'll give it. If it does take this down, though, this 126.80 and then this 126.60, you know, at those levels are areas of concern for me. But hey, I've talked about the banks. I think this is a good environment for them. Tomorrow we have what? Citi, Wells, Goldman. They're all coming tomorrow. They're going to give us a much better picture of what's going on. But a big money center bank, JP Morgan, the reserves they have, the environment that we're about to enter in, money coming out of tech has to go somewhere. I feel like the energy trade is obviously hot, so that's something. And I just feel like the banks are right behind. So some of these lows on the banks right now, I feel like are good buying opportunities. Maybe not for your whole portfolio, but at least you start to nibble in right now if you are a little light on banks. I don't think there's anything to be scared of with this JP Morgan. And the thing that I didn't even talk about yet, and we'll go back to Neil in a second, but they have that $30 billion share buyback. So, you know, when you have cash lying around, and the banks aren't really going to be able to acquire anybody. I mean, there are deals to be made, but I don't know about for JP Morgan. If it is, it would be a smaller one. So why not? As shareholders, yeah, we'll take that $30 billion, buy back the stock. Hopefully that gives us some kind of a bottom right now for the name. So I'm looking worst case scenario 120. So I think it's a buy at 127.
Question is, what do we think about Bed Bath & Beyond, which we'll go to next? That was another earnings miss, let's just say. A big miss. Look, they were talking about potentially swinging a profit, and they're going to have significant losses. It was really the CEO's comments that came through. I mean, forget about the fact that sales were down. It was like 12%. Compared to the previous quarter. But industry trends have worsened since February as macro market volatility and overall consumer uncertainty has surged. At this time, we do not have an update on the work done by our board to unlock further value at Bye Bye Baby, which was supposed to be a bit of a hype train for them and potential growth leader. Quarter to date, comp sales are running negatively in approximately a 20% range. All said on the call, and that's going from 12% miss to 20% to the downside. All that aside, at one point, Bed Bath & Beyond was short sell restricted and down over 10%, 12% as a matter of fact in the pre-market. Since then, only down 2%. It does have that short interest, and I think that's a piece of the story. We've seen this before, where a name is beaten up so badly going into earnings, and it has that short float, so there is a bottom that does form.
Don't say. So I'm short, by the way, on Bed Bath & Beyond. That was rather not fun. So yeah, we shorted right off the opening rush up towards 16.5. I was working a wide zone and trying to grab it as it was coming up. I was working it against 20. So we were playing right here. I thought 16.5 was more than enough given what the pre-market volume looked like. But again, you got to factor in things like short float on top of just straight up earnings plays. So I got run over clearly. It's out $1, but at the same time, it's just the way it's moving isn't helpful because one, it goes from 16, just underneath 16, all the way to 17.50 without stopping, and then takes a little break, comes back down to 16.50. I'm like, yeah, you know what? We have a chance because that area is still good. Nope, second leg to the upside, and now we're finally leaking. I'm not going to get out of this until we run out. Either the only way I ever get out of positions if I'm stopped out, we hit my profit targets. I try not to mess anywhere in the middle just because it messes up with the averages or your winning rates on your reads, right? You don't know what your winning rates are if you constantly make adjustments while you're still trading. So I kind of am mechanical, I am robotic about it, so I will stick with it until it's either out or in the money at a profit target location. In this case, Bed Bath & Beyond is sitting nowhere near either one. It doesn't want to go in the money, obviously, and also it doesn't want to go to the stop, which is great, but at the same time, I'm out $1 as it sits right inside of this area, and I'm working pretty much, thank you, right through here. So here we are, me working that, and here's where it wants to trade right now. Day's not over, though. Still an hour and a half, just over an hour and a half left in the day. We can still get going to the downside. There's still always a possibility, right? So we'll just hold out and see what 4 o'clock brings us. If we're still here at 4 o'clock, because we need to get flat, I will get flat, take the dollar hit, and move on.
Just so you guys are aware, we just reloaded Facebook short right now. Good trade here. We just got it at 214.80 right there, 214.71. It's tank city to the downside one more time. So yeah, I did see Tony over there working the board. So watch out, Fahad. You don't know what this guy's capable of at any given time. So, which is kind of good because now I can renegotiate Fahad's contract as well and put it to the lower side because now Tony can come in there and step it in, right? So yeah, just joking. There we go. All right, so let's keep this train going. What are we supposed to be talking about? Oh yeah, BBBY. Okay, so. Here we go. Bed Bath & Beyond. All right, a nice positive stock for us today. We were very, very patient. We wrote down on the sticky note that we like 1780. Someone also said that Tony today got the extra pepperoni. That's why the thing on, you know how you can order.
Yeah, double pepperoni.
The double pepperoni.
I know about that.
Yeah, so shout out to whoever that was there on the chat. But okay, this is what I did, man. We hit this, and you guys saw me. This was live on the show. We were just taking it out as it was falling. Couldn't believe the price we got. And we actually marketed into this because we knew that we missed the 1780. It was starting to come back down, so I hit the offer there, or I hit the bid, with a marketable order, and then it just started to crash to the downside. Our best outs were right down here, 1660, to the point where it came back up. We tried it again at that 1790. Once we broke above 18, we gave it a little bit more room, and then we got out. So it's a net, a very not very positive, but a positive day for me here today on Bed Bath & Beyond. But yeah, it gave up the ghost there. Should have shorted it again. And if you look at this pre-market right there, all these wicks, I think it's just kind of coincidental that they kind of lined up. I never really take low volume wicks like this to mean anything. So just because you see this, I don't hold that much weight to it right there. The only thing that I see right now that I'm zooming in and around on is that you may be able to see this, you may not, but we do have top wicks there. It happened twice. So I call those like exhausting wicks. So it's like the wick off top and then there's the wick off bottom as well. But those, they just couldn't get going past that 1860 mark. So if I had been sitting here and looking at that back to back like that, that could have told me something. But it also happens here, and it also happens here where I get out. So, there are a lot of those. So I don't want to like data mine and just pick like what works. But to me, that was a good look there for possibly being a top. Not only did you have that pre-market high that I just said wouldn't have meant anything, but it just would have given you some more, oomph to your trade. But a nice little move back down for Bed Bath & Beyond. Not really on my radar now. Like I said, I'm cooking with gas over here and looking for other stocks. Like Facebook, we've identified short. Is Facebook ever coming up here? Yeah, we could talk about this maybe a little bit later, but right now, Facebook coming off here. We did reshort more AMD now. We just talked about this as the trade of the day. So just to give you guys an update, I'm getting out if we break this 97.20. So it's come close a couple times. Maybe it's not so weak anymore, but this was a great trade. My number one stock today by far net-wise. I mean, Facebook could take it over, but right now it's AMD easily, man. We loaded it up here, put on our big boy pants and took that because we believe 98 was the level. So if you can find those things, you have to stick and have some conviction. And again, a big shout out to all of our fans out there and our viewers that, have that kind of conviction. I'll talk about Veru as well when it gets to that point.
Still doing tremendous amount of volume. Look, the board was amazing when we did it at the morning, just the beginning of the show here, showing you so much green. But PayPal was in the red because they had their CFO step away under a lot of pressure. But the JP Morgan report also gave you some gems here, helping out shares of Block, and that was the other end of the coin. So PayPal was weak, but Block was on the upside. And essentially what came out of JP Morgan was they saw a 21% jump in credit card, debit card spend for the first quarter, saw a continued pickup in credit card spending in travel and dining. They saw car payment volumes reinforcing their view that domestic volumes are performing well. So Block up because JPM sees good payment volume. So what they saw was good for the entire industry. It's making it even worse that PayPal was down. And Block, they're not at the highs right now, but we're back above this 125 mark. It's been bouncing off the recent lows at 120, and it definitely, Sean, put in a wick-off bottom at 930. So there were some gems to come out of that conference call. A lot of times you're listening to a call, maybe it's going to tell you something about a name not the subject of the conference call. In this case, it was giving some gems that helped out Block.
Square Block. Look, I've talked about this because I follow Jamie Dimon, obviously, as I obviously respect for him as CEO, but It was Square. Square was the biggest miss. He said it publicly, so I don't know. He probably might have said it on the exchange as well there that Neil's mentioning. But Square was his biggest miss. He had an opportunity to buy this thing like, you know, they IPO'd at like $2 or something like that, right? Square went up to like $300 over the last summer there. You can see where we were, 270 and change, and even higher if I zoom back out. So I guess maybe it was 290. Maybe that's the high there, 290. I don't know. But this is definitely a missed opportunity. So we do know that Square has been on Jamie Dimon's mind for quite a while there, so no surprise that he's looking at it again, maybe in talking about some of those revenues and that bump there. So yeah, well discussed, and I mean that's where, like, honestly, you know, if you're listening to something, you can get some of those big moves back up to the upside. But at the same time, the Nasdaq has been trading really well. I mean, this is the Nasdaq all day here today, so it's just been a nice upside move. So you do get those same flushes here in the Nasdaq early, and then look, I mean, look how this looks. And then if we look at Square, it's almost identical, including these dips and back in, including the market percentage that they're up. So it's nice to see right now that, you know, this name's trying to get off the bottom. I don't know if I've never really used Square or anything like that. I don't think they're as popular here in Canada maybe as they are down south. But I just feel like they don't have anything proprietary. And yeah, PayPal, one of them has Venmo, one of them has Cash App. There's lots of stuff to go through here. And I just feel like the more and more, you know, digital we get as a world, including Bitcoins and anything, even cold storage, wallets, everything like that, the more the big guys are going to get involved. And I just feel like, why would JP Morgan or Bank of America or Morgan Stanley or anybody allow you to take your business to another application? I almost just feel like it's time that they're going to step in and sort of start pushing their muscle around in some of these spaces. So I am a little nervous about Square. I've talked about this about PayPal as well. It's just too easy now. Like, I log in and sure, I can still pay with PayPal, but just as easily we can pay with Google Pay, Apple Pay, all these different options, right? Affirm, different options to pay now. If I would do Affirm, like, buy now, pay never, but maybe that's getting settled down, and you don't want to have bad credit, so I don't advise doing that. But at the same time, I just wonder if Square doesn't really hold what it once did, that competitive advantage.
Yeah, for me, I'm going to do PayPal just because I was actually trying to get PayPal this morning. We were trying to go short. Because of where it was opening, I was trying to say, you know what, close to 106 into 111. That was my read, and then we kind of lost it after it did this around 105 in the pre-market here, or not pre-market, after the market opened, after it backed out, initially went to 104.50, back down, went to 105.50, and then back down, back underneath it. I'm like, at that point, I was like, you know what? I don't know if I want to take a fill at 106 after it's already back down a few times, because it could actually pick up strength off that 104 bounce and keep going. So I'm like, you know what, we're going to cancel. I already had a bunch of positions on. Do I want to add that extra risk on top of that after seeing what I saw? Clearly walked away from it. 105.95 is the fill, is the top end. To be fair, I also wouldn't have never gotten filled because I was sitting a little bit higher than the 995. I would have been off by a few cents. So clearly, I still wouldn't have gotten a fill, and here it is back at 104. But the key thing is the read is still in play. That 111 read, or that area that I wanted to work with, still in play. Maybe too expensive for the day, but tomorrow, let's just say we get a move back into 106 or 107. That still opens up the door for a potential shot on the short side if it sets up, and that's a big thing. It needs to set up. On a situation like this, it opens up the door, but it needs to set up to take that shot.
Yeah, it needs to be set up to take your shot. That's the important thing you just mentioned there. A bit of a runner here, and we're gonna talk Veru in just a quick second. But MRSN, yeah, that's a good-looking chart. If you don't like a chart like that, then you're in the wrong business. But strong move, it's just breaking high today on volume, up 460 here. At 460, up 15%. So we have a late day runner. Everyone should be watching out for this particular name. But I wanted to jump to Veru because it has a chance to break out as well at 12.50. So Veru, let's remember, got to $15 and double top there. Felt like it was left for dead late in yesterday's action, but right at the open, it found support at $10 and has been running since. Watching for a 12.50 break, and we've seen it get energized late in the day before. Has a chance to do that here. And the market is strong, but there are still some of these small caps that are making their moves this afternoon.
Okay, Veru, we are We're reloaded now on Veru. And yeah, Dinesh, we did reload that Facebook trade, and that is cash money right now to the downside as we just reloaded Facebook right here at 71. We just took a bid out at 36 and starting to go lower, lower, lower. Yeah, Veru down today for me. We took that first break and we just started trading it right now. We take that first 12 break. Well, actually, we didn't take the break. It came back in. We tried to defend 12. That didn't last too long. We lost 20 cents real quick right there. And then when it broke 12 back up to the upside, this is where we started to cash out. We cashed out the majority of them because of this high. Thought it could go again. Got out again on the 1180 break. So thank God we took out more shares there than we did because we had that high. So, you know, that saved us. But basically 0 for 2, in there, in there, in. And then right now, as volume, I thought maybe was starting to pick up again here. Excuse me, but I don't know what we're going to do here. We're trying to defend this long, trying to defend this 12, which is sort of held. I'm going to get out if it breaks 12 again. But maybe this 1180 is just another level. But if I'm going to use 1180, then I really should be using down here 1160, and I don't want to. So I'm going to use 12 as my out. Let's test Veru. I just put, like, as soon as I got this filled, literally 1 minute ago, that I put an offer right here at 35. So if it can come back into this area, you know that's a level that I'm concerned about. So Veru upside right there. This is going to be a 3-to-1 hold, meaning we're trying to lose 10 cents if we break through 12 and try to get 30 to 40 cents on an upside move right back to the high. So that's my plan for Veru. I just hope it works.
Yeah, I'm not touching this. As I mentioned in the super chat, after I got that 1121 long and got out after that failed break of 12 the first time, and then obviously we took it again and came back down again. After all of that, I am not touching that. There's way too much happening in both directions for me to be, be choosing one side. So I can see justifications for both sides of this. I'm not going short, but at the same time, I don't feel comfortable going long with the risk associated with taking a shot north of 12. So, but I've taken trades in the past where I can't remember the name. It was last week, I think, where I went after a stock because of specifically this, the way it was trading going into the afternoon. It didn't have the resistance and the volume to deal with like this one does from yesterday in the pre-market, but it was pretty much this. It was selling, but every time it would go up, it would sell a little bit and then try another leg up. And I was thinking, man, there's a lot of shorts trying to get some movement to the downside that are getting no traction. We could actually get a run towards the end. And it did do some sort of movement, but it wasn't a whole lot. And I'm thinking the same thing on Veru, only difference being it actually has volume that needs to get past. So once it gets past all of this volume, it has a chance, but it needs to get past first at least 13 to get going. And then we need to clear 14 to possibly open up the 15s. And then, once 15 goes, everyone's looking at the highs, looking to take the new highs out. But for me now, at this point, if you're going to use 10 as your stop, 12 seems a little too expensive given what's above you.
We're going to talk a little bit about tech here, and I'm just going to throw up the cues and leave it at this. You can see 1.8% we are to the upside. That's at 9:30 there was a wick off bottom, and then it was just wham bam, thank you ma'am to the upside. Pretty much all strength all morning long. We were talking about airlines, but the move up in tech and growth has been just as impressive here. So on the daily chart, you can see 340. It's been several days in a row to the downside, and that trend is pretty clean ever since the rejection of the 200. Is this our temp bottom? Because it's an impressive start if it is.
Looking at futures?
Tech?
Yeah, I'll do NASDAQ futures. Sure. Okay, so let's pull up the NASDAQ futures. Strong day today after having a horrible day on the markets yesterday. Complete reversal, but is it a complete reversal though? I would say a complete reversal in the sense that, yeah, we're buying back, but at the same time, we got a lot to get through for this market to actually get going to the upside. Specifically, you can see on the daily, I've got a couple zones marked off, 14.3 to 14.5. That's on the NASDAQ futures. If we can get through that, we have a chance then to get through, we need to get through 14, about 7 through 14.8 and change. I would say 850. So 2 legs to get through. Once we get through both of these zones, we really have a chance then towards 15.5. But that, again, we need to get through all of that. There's a reason why this market has a chance to bounce. There is some support right through here down towards 13.8. So it makes sense that the market wants to take a look north of 14. 14 as a round number, 14,000 as a round number at this point means very little because of the fact that there is nothing new there. There's nothing new at those price points. 14,000 is just a big round number. There's no stops building. There's no activity that's going to flow through there unless, apart from the fact that it's just a big round number. Now that we've kind of set up 13,900, now we're working 14,003. There's some other levels that are building past those edges that we can work with. This move to the upside, as great as it is today, it's got some headwinds that it needs to get past for us to actually get going. Keep in mind, though, it's a holiday shortened week. Tomorrow's the last day of trading for the week, as there's a holiday on Friday for Good Friday. So volume, is it a little bit thin right now, even though we're going to upside? Yeah, it is a little bit thin, but it makes sense because the holiday shortened week, end of week programs, end of just settlement procedures for I guess programs and what they want to do going into the weekend has to be done tomorrow or today. Today's close is also possible. I've seen extra long weekends where a lot of the volume's done on the close on Wednesday, and then Thursday is like completely dead, and then the holiday, right? That's also a possibility, but keep an eye on the closes today. There might be some extra volume coming in. If not today, then it's got to be tomorrow.
Are we doing, yeah, so I mean, I've just been here, the tech stocks here. I mean, I was going to use one of them for frustration, but I've been shorting Facebook here like right now a lot. I feel like Facebook's weak. Obviously, Facebook's about to go red on the day, and we identified that early. I was actually right here playing Facebook strength, and I talked about this on the Tony show here earlier, from 216 down to 215, that it was barcoding, right? And I'm pretty sure, I don't know if it was Ian or Brandon or who had it, but I feel like someone else had this Facebook trade. It did go nicely in the money for us there, but then when it started to fail, it was just like, see you later, man, and just kept coming down to the downside. And I was like, okay, something's broken here. The minute we broke this level of 215.50, I definitely want to turn over to shorts. And like now we're just printing money on Facebook. So Facebook definitely to the short side. We already know about the struggles that AMD's had holding bids. So again, beautifully short here, but it just took that high. Even though the market's kind of dancing a little bit, AMD looks like it wants to go up. So we got out of AMD right now. My number one stock on the day, my two big stocks on the day are AMD and Facebook, and both to the short side. So to talk about the tech bouncing back, I use that bounce back to get short. I just don't believe that tech wants to run. I mean, it's running nicely today, 1.7%. There's no doubt about that. But I think that the sells are still on a lot of the desks. So let's see if tech can make that be truthful and keep going to the downside right now. But I like it, man. I like Microsoft. I like Apple. I like all these names. I just feel like heading into the holiday, like Arun mentioned, I feel like it's just a lot of sells probably.
I do want to say one thing before we go back to Neil. Dan Green bringing up a very important point. Because Friday is closed, options expiration is going to be tomorrow. So volume, on a regular month, volume on an options expiration isn't as great as, say, like the quarterly adjustments. But still, options expiration, you got to respect it. It's coming in, and then because it's a holiday, it's going to be on the 14th. I double-checked the options expiration calendar. Confirmed 14th is going to be the standard expiration for equity and equity indexes, ETFs and whatnot. So it'll be tomorrow, but doesn't necessarily mean that today is going to be dead. It could easily be completely quiet all day tomorrow, and then right at the end we get volume, or there could also be some volume today and just the handling of options tomorrow. So you got to just stay tuned for the close and see how this one plays out.
Yeah, excellent point. Something you have to consider every single time the market is closed on a Friday, especially now with weekly options. Just going to point out, Dominic, I know you're looking at CRTD. I'll throw it out there. It just tried to make another run through 150. It is trying to go. I was short this pretty much all day long, but it is trying to make a move to break the high. This is a real wick. It got up to 165 on a failed 150 break, so there is some overhead resistance. But this is the time where we jump in and talk about what the frustrating stock was of the day, if it hasn't already been covered. But hey, there's always an opportunity to do better in a trade, or maybe to catch a trade that you missed out on.
Oh, crowd? Yeah, okay, so we've just discussed what ours are going to be here, and
everyone knows mine.
Everyone knows
everyone knows
so I'll
mine.
do the first.
Yeah.
Mine's just going to be Veru, because I just got stopped out again on this name. It's the only stock that I'm negative. Apple. Actually, Apple could be my frustrating stock. I'm negative quite a large amount there on Apple, but I'm just going to use Veru because honestly, like, it's just why I'm in here right now. I mean, we took out 12, thought it could run. And these are like little paper cuts, which is fine. We're barely down a coffee on this name, and we're down more than that, but you know what I mean. It's not big damage for me at all on this. By the way, I might go get another coffee here. I'm feeling pretty good here. This is already, we reloaded on this, by the way.
Oh, wow. Look at you get going.
So there we go. So we've got about 3 or 4, this is 4 liters, so 1 gallon. So I'm pretty sure we're done about a gallon and a quarter so far today on that one. But yeah, you know, trying to feel better. We talked about this, right? Trying to lose a bit of weight, drink a little bit more water, stuff like that. So talking about that. But okay, Veru, I just feel like, honestly, just because it didn't go. So that's why I'm frustrated. I thought right here that we were going to go up to 1240, stopped, didn't really do anything. And like right now, I'm getting excited again. I just see it starting to move. I'm like, oh, I'm going to go long again. But every single time, it broke the levels that I was waiting for. No, thank you. Done, right? Go here. Take it back to here. This one was okay because we wound up getting out of the majority. We did hold 20%, so we wound up losing. That breaks as well. And then just now, we got in on a 12 break again, and then it took down. And even if I held this to 90, I probably would have came close to getting stopped out again right there. So I just feel like I'm thinking it's going to move, and I'm sure there's a lot of you that are frustrated with Veru today, so we're on the same wavelength on this one. Veru, frustrating for me today. It just didn't give it what we wanted here, and unfortunately, we missed the move early, and there hasn't been one late, so I'm putting Veru on my frustration list today.
You know, typically stocks, when they lose, I'm not too bothered because losing is part of trading. But man, crowd took me for a ride. It wasn't even a ride. Think about, you were saying that paper cuts, I live and die by the sword. So this was just a straight up big sword right through there. Crowd just running me over, 230 short. I got out, yeah, 240, of course. You see that wick right through there? Yeah, because it's thin. What do you expect when it goes through a round number? I'm getting run over real quick. So that was a deep shot that did not help. And I think the worst case situation is not just crowd losing, because I had a chance to get into Lulu on the 90 break, and because I had crowd, I couldn't spread the risk because they were both high risk positions. And what does Lulu do? Lulu decides that it wants to go $6 in the money from that point.
Yeah, Lulu.
So yeah, take crowd. That is now going to be a huge loser. That is a huge loser because I'm out north of 40 there, and not get a chance, have to pass on Lulu because I'm in crowd, and Lulu ends up being the big winner to the buy side. That's set up. So crowd, the big disappointing one. Yeah, Upstart's an issue too, but Upstart's chart, at least I liked a little bit better. Crowd, I really thought had a chance, but man, that chart is not helping today's case for me, and that short read on from that 230 level that I took.
I just want to say down with everybody who ever shorts Lulu. So we've already talked about that. So yeah, down to the shorts there as we have different biases. Just like, you know, Ms. V, I don't know if she ever shorts Tesla or not. But I'm going to say I never want to see anybody ever short Lululemon. But if you do, I hope you win on that one. But yeah, just some good talk right there. That's that. So good little wrap up right there on frustrating stocks. I mean, yeah, we can get back to trading now, I believe. Anyways, let's just go over something right here. Bed Bath & Beyond did make another move down into that 1750 area. The reason why we bring that up is it kind of coincides with some of the levels that I was looking at before here into 1750. So that's held. And I mean, you talked about options expiration tomorrow. And again, on a name that's reported this week, there is going to be option interest in Bed Bath & Beyond. Obviously, you talked about that bye-bye baby. That's the kind of stuff that I was talking about. That just didn't happen, by the way. That's not a true wick. But that's the kind of stuff that I was talking about with corporate restructuring and maybe a bid coming through for that unit. But that didn't happen today. But still, Bed Bath & Beyond started the day down 11% or 8 to 10%, something like that. And beautiful move back up to the upside. And just as we talked about it, we talked about preparation being king, right? If you look at the sticky note right here, this is the first thing, man. Horrid quarter, down 8%, but has a chance to head back to 18. Like, let me read that again. Has a chance to get back to 18, right? So there you go. And if so, short it until 19. Like, what really am I doing here? I mean, it starts down here at 15, and I'm literally writing the note. Has a chance to get back to 18. Do I do anything about that? No. There was lots of opportunities to get long here. And where does it go? right back to 18. Okay, and if it gets to 18, Sean, I don't know. I have no idea what I would do if it gets to 19, right? Well, what about shorting it at 19? As I wrote that down, and there it is again, another one for Sticky Note Nation off that short rate there. I don't have it, so is what it is. But just it goes to show you, and it goes back to the trade of the day, and we talk about like being prepared, understanding what levels you're looking at, understanding the trade and where you're trying to make it. So, and I got to give a big shout out to Arud too. And I know you're frustrated with crowd and whatever. I know it wasn't a big, huge position for you or anything like that, but I got to say props because honestly, it's about sticking with your guns. You did it yesterday on the futures, obviously with more risk, and that paid off dividends 100 times. You know, the amount of risk there put on the futures versus that crowd trade. So, and again, we don't, you know, stick with what you're doing the best. But again, have your convictions, you know, and that's where it's about share sizing properly. Like, I'm not going to hold 1,000 shares of Facebook $10 against me or something like that, right? So you got to think about those decisions, risk manage. And if worst case scenario happens, that's what happens. You get out. As traders, and you said this to Prad when throwing slippers and things like that, and that just is like, if you're not here to put on risk and to look at charts and to manage positions and to trade, sometimes you're going to lose when you're making those decisions, right? So that's a good one. And I just want to say, like, props to you because honestly, that's a problem that I have. And it's not about taking the loser or the winner. It's just about holding on to your conviction, understanding that, you know, trades aren't going to go for you in the first 2 minutes sometimes. Sometimes it takes 3 hours, 4 hours for a trade to pan out, whether it be on the up or the downside. So great trade. Well, maybe not a great trade, but great execution and great idea sticking with what you're talking about. So I just want to give a big shout out to that because, hey, I've taken hits. I could talk about Apple. I talked about NEO. I threw pie in my own face the other day when I was just shorting NEO all the way up. But that's what I believed. I stuck with it, got railroaded. It happens. On that note,
are we going to Neil?
No, Neil.
Oh, we're not going to Neil. Okay, I was waiting for Neil.
I just want to say one more time, one more reload. Yeah, I thought that's what you were doing. One more reload. Just rifles right back to the upside. So we're going to give this out at 215. If it breaks 215, that's that high wick. We're getting pretty close to it. And again, this is how I trade. I'm not giving back what I've already made. So you can scrap that. Let's see what happens here with Facebook. And now is the call for Neil. What's up?
Yeah, we can come. Actually, I was just looking this one up to see if anything new had happened on HPK, and nothing new. High Peak Energy just hit another high of the day. The story, I guess, last night was it got a mention on a certain other network by a certain Mr. Kramer, and it's been running pretty much all day long. It hasn't really slowed down. It just broke out to a fresh high, 52-week highs as well, guys. Almost to $30, up 34%. So there have been a few runners out there, but nothing new, despite the fact that this one is, again, taking out that fresh high.
Right. To answer a couple questions in one shot, let's talk about Upstart. That's the short that I went earlier. Okay, the reason I went for the short, couple bounds, so we got that spike down through on the 24th of January, right through that, it looked like 85 area, all the way down to about 75 and change, snapback rally. We stabilized around 87, looks like low is about 87.03, 87.26 the following day. Okay, gives you a general area that you want to work with. Okay. You come back down here in the same area on the 14th of March, 14th, 15th of March. Lows are in about 86, 85. Okay, getting a bit more precise with the levels now after about 2 months apart. And now we come back into it. We tried one time yesterday, or not yesterday, Monday would have been, to kind of figure out what to do. We're back in the same zone, small, tiny range that day. Next day, gap up, close south of 84, gets below everything that you had from early January. Well, not the spike, but the majority of the volume that would have been in there in January and then March. And then we essentially from 95 all the way down through 84. Now I'm thinking coming into the day, what are we going to do here on Upstart? Let's see how much action here is around 84, because remember, we were looking at 86, 87 roughly as the area to watch for potential support initially, and then yesterday would have taken all that out. Let's see what we got. We've got action from 84 to 84.5. That's good enough for me, so I step in at 84, and of course, it just decides to take off. If you decide to take this kind of a trade, though, you've got to understand the risk is high. Again, if I'm taking a multi-month move, if I'm trying to work a level that's off a multi-month move, then you got to be willing to put up the risk. The stop on this has to be 90, right? I got to put it up to here to give it a chance to work through January and March's action. And it's bouncing, yes. Could I have gotten a better price if I had waited? Yes. But at the same time, I saw it more than enough in the morning. The fact that we were hesitating around these 84 and 84 halves. We have 86 from January. We have it again from mid-March. Why not take it down here? That's my read anyways. 84 and change against the 90s. See what we got. Stop on this is actually right just north of here. Let's just put it out. We still have one more day left in the market, right? Or before we close out for the week. If this market now, or if this stock specifically just goes sideways and we're still here tomorrow, I will re-enter this trade at this as close as possible to the same price I have to exit it today because we got to be flat by the end of the day. Same thing I did with Walmart, right? Although, does it show multi-day entries? No, it doesn't sometimes. Walmart, I had a long on this yesterday. I just ran out of time. We ended up getting out, or just around that 153, and then got right back in the pre-market, pretty much, I probably gave up like 20 cents or so to get what I got today, but I got the same entry as much as I possibly could have right back in the pre-market. And then here we are riding that same trade that started yesterday, ran out of time. And then here we are, $4.39 in the money on Walmart. The remaining portion, we got $2 out in the initial pop off the open. And then here we are on the rest of it going $4.38 in the money. If that's what needs to be done on Upstart tomorrow, so be it, but I am going to hold my ground here until we go through 90. I'm not working time as much as I am working levels. So if this is my area, I'll do it as long as I need to until the level's gone, at which point the read is gone, and then I can move on to a different name. So here we are with that. And then Lulu, I definitely have to keep an eye on tomorrow because Lulu taking 390 opens up the door for a trade. I had to pass up on it today, but tomorrow,
only, right?
Long would be the rate. Yeah, long because the read is solid to the upside north of 90.
Yeah. All right. Yeah, Lululemon, good little name there to watch out for. Let's, I don't know. And the funny thing is, Arun, I actually want to ask you about this. I'm kind of going to put you on the spot because Apple, honestly, destroyed me today. Like I was short. I mean, we were able to make some money, but ultimately it was shorting in here. That was the mistake. And then trying to defend that 170. And then I said over to you as I was building these positions, remember how, and I was like, this is ridiculous. Like, what do you think about this Apple short? Yeah. And you actually said
171.
171.
Yeah.
So I've been looking here at daily charts. I mean, our daily's not that good here. Maybe it looks better on eSignal. But I was looking at all these charts and I was like, our thing's pretty good in here. I don't really see like where 171 was so key for you. So if you don't mind, I wonder why you sort of thought about that. I mean, now that I'm looking at it, I see that maybe a couple days ago we had that level right there, but then maybe 172 might look better. Was there anything that sort of mentioned like why you were looking at 171, or was that just sort of like an exhaustion point? Like maybe it was just, you know, it's just the way it's trading. Anyways, I'm not going to put words in your mouth, but like I have this nice short on Facebook. I've been reading that really well, but definitely got run over there in Apple. What did you see where maybe myself as a trader or some of our viewers could have gotten away from this short at all, or, you know what?
All right, the secret sauce.
Yeah, that's what I want. I want that.
The secret sauce. Why did Arun choose 171 as a stop on Apple and it backed off right off of 171? To be fair, it's a lot simpler than it looks. I know off the daily, I really also don't care because this is subjective too. Everyone's going to see it differently. So at the end of the day, depending on how you see it, you may disagree with this, and then that's what trading is, right? Based on yesterday's action, it's pretty obvious going into 170 is going to be a problem. But if you look at 170 on the way up from above, pretty much the 6th, the 7th, and the 8th, we're stalling around 170. And it's pretty clear that 170 is going to be a problem. You need to give it a ton of flexibility just north of 170. I go to a 60-minute chart. What do you got? Every time we back off, it seems to bounce about 50, 60 cents. So I'm going to factor in 50-cent slippage. I'm not going to put a stop midway through a dollar level, so I'm immediately going to the next dollar, which is now 171. So if I think 170 is going to be a good level, but at the same time, there's going to be a lot of slippage at 170, a stop just above 170 is going to just get me out, and then the stock comes right back in. I don't want to risk that. So I go north of 170 into 170 half, but I don't like using half levels as stops. we're going right to the next one, which is 171. So that's kind of my reasoning for 171. And once you get past 171, it opens the door for the upside. But keep in mind, though, the NASDAQ still has resistance to the upside in terms of levels. And NASDAQ is the big factor here is Apple sitting at about 11 or 12% of the NASDAQ weight. So even though Apple may take 171, NASDAQ still has about 250 points from 250. Right now we're at 200. And I'm looking at the level, the resistance break level on NASDAQ at 14.5. So we got 300 points in upside before we clear resistance. So we can turn at any point, even if Apple were to take that 171. But that's kind of my reasoning for that.
That's awesome. I just want to say a big shout out here to Ethan because that was pretty funny, man. I just read something pretty funny here. Ethan, what's up, man? Tony can tie his shoes with his feet.
That's impressive, Tony.
That's the thing. Yeah,
I believe it too, Tony.
Oh, yeah, I'm pretty sure that is what he can do. But shout out to you, Tony. Thanks again for a great job. I'm talking with Pratt here. He's doing well. What's up, Neil?
There's been about 100 Tony facts. I want to say at least. I see like Irish Mac. Tony slapped the doctor when he was born. There's just too many of them, and these are amazing that are coming out here. But I'd be remiss if I didn't point this one out here. And Fahad like this. But Rivian. It's barcoding at the high. That's about all you can say about it. Barcoding at $41, up 7%. So it's just sitting here at the top, up 7% on the session. Exactly. And making a bit of a run. If you look at the consolidation that's in, I know we were talking about this yesterday, but I just kind of felt maybe we should point this one out here. There's a lot of strong stocks, but not all of them are up 7 points today.
Remember yesterday's stock to bounce and could bounce, you know, pretty aggressively there, and I got heat.
Which one did I choose? I chose Walmart.
Don't worry about what one you chose.
Of course I
remember
Walmart,
the stock.
Actually.
Remember Fahad put $3 million into this name, up 7% today. Goes boom right there, getting unplugged. Where's my little EV on? And what we do is we pull out another gem for you on that talk yesterday with RIV to the N. So look, I'm just touting it. I had no idea it was going to go up 8% today, but a nice move for Rivian again today, man. Nicely done. Now barcoding, Neil, you are 100 on that. I mean, this is like, what is happening here? Attention, algos. Oh, by the way, boom right now as Facebook, Arun, all the way to the bottom. So I'll take some of that as well. There it is. Wow. Look at that, Dinesh. What's going on right now? Let's throw that money side to side to side to side here as we are at the highest spot we've been at all day. We have recovered from that Apple demolishing that we took earlier on. And now we say thank you very much to Facebook as I'm sitting here at 11 as well. We just got out at 11. Okay, we got filled there. So a nice little move to the downside. We just, look at these reloads. Reloaded, 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 all for you live on the show. I mean, every single one of these trades we interrupted to bring you breaking news. We went short right there. So a nice little move to the downside here in Facebook. But yeah, I don't know, Rivian, I mean, we talked about it yesterday, why I liked it. We talked about George Soros. We talked about CalPERS. And apparently I was so convincing that Fahad, put everything he owns into this stock. He didn't, but that would have been a great move. Even for myself, man, flatten out everything and buy some Rivian. But yeah, nice little move to the upside here. And again, Neil's bringing some news there. It's just pressure. I mean, Rivian's been so beat down there today. We can look at its, I don't want to say its brother Tesla because Tesla may be offended by that. But a nice move back up for Tesla as well today, up that 3%. We do expect when these names go, like I'm going to assume Lucid's more than 3% today. Let's see, Lucid today, only 2%, okay. So it looks like we might have been right there with the Rivian call. Let's check out Fisker, the name that I'm actually in, when apparently I should be in Rivian. Fisker today is up 4%, okay, so nice little move. So the EV space definitely getting a bump after a couple rough rides in the last few days. So, let's not like count our chickens before they hatch here, but it's a nice little start from that bottom. I said you could start sort of building that Rivian trade, and I do like it, but again, still very risky. The EV space is something to, they're not going to get a lot of EV cars. I think it's, 5? I think it's like between 5 to 8% right now of new car sales appear to be electric. and the number's a little bit higher or a little bit lower than that to current on the road. So electric right now, I know there's a lot of, like Volkswagen, I believe, is not making any more combustible engines, new model engines as well for that. So, you know, EV's definitely hot, and it continues to be that way, and should be like that the rest of the year, to be honest with you. And I like Tesla, I like Fisker, and I like Ford in the space.
All right, let's talk about the futures, since I haven't mentioned it pretty much all day. And this is exactly what happens when I'm just on the futures. There's days where you have a ton of activity. I work ranges and I kind of average into stuff, and then I let it go. And then when it's not inside the range, I just don't do anything with it. And this is pretty much what happened with the S&P futures. That's what I primarily trade anyways. And here it goes. It bounces off these 85, not even 85. It was like low was 9 o'clock, 84. From 84, all we've been doing is going up. This is the 60-minute chart. At no point have we slowed down enough to go for the short. Now, it's entering that range where I want to go for a short. But again, I'm going to respect the strength. I'm not jumping on board just because it's entering that range. I need it to set up. And that's when I say, you know what, make sure it sets up. This is exactly what you want to avoid. It's in that short range, but no, the strength is there. It goes to 25. As soon as we enter 25, I'm thinking shorts, but at the same time, it's too strong. Respect it. Takes a bounce down to 16 or so, goes again to 35, comes back down to 24, takes another shot towards 40. We're still going strong to the upside on the future. So although we're in that short range area that I'm looking for shorts, we're not going to get it unless we get through this white line here, which is sitting at about 15, at which point then I'm actively looking and putting in orders. But for the time being, I'm looking for shorts. Maybe a new setup comes in and I'll move this line up saying, you know what, let's get below here before I go for a short. I'm not going for longs because we're too far away from any stops. But in this zone, I am definitely looking for a short. We're just not going to find one. Odds are, given it's 3 o'clock, given how we're moving, highly unlikely I pick up anything today. But this doesn't have to be a one-day thing. It's going to be a multi-day move. As long as you guys haven't seen, as you guys can see on how I'm taking these trades, I don't just move on from them just because the day is over. I'll come back to them again tomorrow if we haven't done anything crazy with them. So I'll work this again tomorrow in the event that we are still within this range. And if we break to the upside, I'll have something new to work with. But for the time being, respect the strength, look for shorts, but nothing doing right now.
And man, remember what we were talk of the day? Well, now is my most frustrating stock once again here, because all we've been going is long, and when a stock hits the high of the day and all you've been going is long, of course you are going to be frustrated with that. And right now it looks like, yeah, it's going the other way right now. I don't know what's happened here, but the market just like screamed there, Neil. I don't know. It seems like it was, but basically the reason why I bring it up is it just goes right back to the high of the day right now on the NASDAQ. So like, yeah, that started to get a little bit spicy there. And by the way, like I am just like cracking up here. I got to worry about Facebook because I just reloaded it again, Dinesh. But like, how funny are some of these, man? You guys are the best. And I said like that he was the Chuck Norris there, Tony. But like, Jesus walked on water, but Tony can swim on land. Like, give me a break. There's so many amazing things in here. The one that Neil said there, how when Tony was born, he slapped the doctor, not the other way around. So many great things here in our chat that it's like unbelievable. I love all those things. So I'm going to be saying some of these to our kids. Okay, so by the way, I just want to address something. I see Mark over there, and I know the team is working on it. Apparently, the stream, is not cooperating properly. Oh. Come on, Veru, man. Congratulations to everybody that's long right now, as that just keeps on marketing up here. It looks like breaking through 1250 and now testing a day's high again of 1260. So a nice move back upside here for Veru. But if you are having problems with the stream, please refresh it. We do understand that maybe there always could be something wrong with YouTube or internet traffic in our area and things like that. But please try to refresh it. We are working on it. So thanks for noting that in the chat. But there it is. We just did get stopped out right there. So yeah, at some point there. This is for the walk on water stuff. But there we go. Facebook. finally comes out. We're still holding a little bit short there, but there's that last reload. You know, sometimes 1, 2, 3, 4 times the charm, but we got out there. So, you know, no damage really done. It does hurt, obviously, when you get hit on that, but the market right now taking down these highs. So nothing wrong with getting out. We still are holding a small piece in case that was the wick top. But again, with this market screaming right now, taking out the day's high, holding a short in an aggressive name is not good. So we're out of Facebook there. Very profitable name for us, but yeah, that's it. We're out. I'm just going to get rid of the rest of these because, again, it's just a leftover piece here. So we'll get out of the rest of these, and then we'll look for some longs. I think I'm going to go back to Apple as we realize that Apple was strong today. So we could go back to Apple. Yeah, not as strong as Veru, but Apple right now is starting to motor around a little bit as well. So let's get out of the Facebook and regroup a little bit.
Yeah, as Apple decides that it wants to bounce off that 170, it makes sense. Futures markets bouncing off those 35s. Now we're sitting just underneath 40, 5-point bounce. Nice little turnaround, actually, after falling from that 38 level down to 32. Now taking a look at 40. This is exactly why, even though it's in the zone, you don't want to go for the short right away. You want to be smart about it. So here I am waiting, but I'm respecting the strength. And like I said, I'm going to kind of let it go because this market's running out of time for us to kind of work some trades. So let's just ride the Walmart long and go to Neil.
So look, you just talked about Veru at the high of the day. It just broke the high of the day, but there was about 50 to 60,000 shares on the bid at 12.50 that actually got that last push to the upside there as it took the high of the day. So size buyers at the highs on Veru trying to make that run back to that 15 mark that it got to on the daily chart. A lot of times there's something that goes in the afternoon. It looks like it's Veru's turn again.
And that's what you're going to see. You're going to see some excitement towards the end of the day. If you're willing to put up the risk and hold on. If you have great prices, that's different. But if you're willing to step in at 12, that's...
Veru's probably only going up because Tony's long.
That's probably true.
Mean, let's just call it for what it is right there. But yeah, no, good move for Veru, and congratulations everybody again on that play. I'm gonna see right now if Apple, and again, it's my worst stock today, so maybe we shouldn't be going back to the well, but at the same time, I just want to see if we do test back into the high of the day now. If we don't, that's fine. We can get out of the way here. It's not going to be anything too crazy. We're long right here. We're out of the money 10 cents. We do have the 50-period moving average coming in right now. And again, like, why would Apple retrace back down when it's been pretty strong today? Again, it's not as strong as the market at this point, but a big move up for Apple and then stopping while we're at the high of the day right now. So I feel like it has the ability to test again. So we'll hold out hope that maybe that's what happens now to that upside, and we're going to figure out what's happening now. 171 right now coming through. So that's what we're going to wait for. We do have some lower support. Like, if this breaks too much below this, I mean, we can even hold it for this, man. Like, maybe even 170 flat. We might as well at this point. Let's hold it out for 170 flat. If it comes back and breaks that, then I'd be just as surprised as all of you. Let's put on some more shares at 170.25, and then we'll work it from there. So this is what we're dealing with. I'm going to look at some 170.20s, 170.25, something like that, to average into Apple. And then if it takes down this bottom, then maybe we just reverse it into the short. But we're watching the market. It's up that 2%. Doesn't feel like yesterday, man. I mean, yesterday by this time, we'd already come down. We were talking about imbalances. We had talked about the way this market was going to go. And if you see Apple yesterday into the close, this is really what's, you know, it's a nice move. But then right here, this is 3 o'clock, started to make its way back upside. So let's see if that happens again for Apple. And there's the little push down into the close. But I feel like Apple needs to go. Well, it needs to go because I'm long. But let's see if it just supports this bottom. I mean, I could go double wrong on the reads here again with going short early and long late. If it doesn't work, it doesn't work. But I'm going to put my money where my mouth is, try to take this 170.20 and then get out on this 170.90, 169.90 break, whatever it is. Let's try Apple long one more time. May not work, though, guys. Apple's been my worst stock today. So I just want to try it. I feel like we could test that 171 one more time.
All right. We've talked about Bed Bath & Beyond. We've talked about Upstart. We've talked about Walmart. The one that we haven't talked about, although it hasn't really moved much, still a winner, though. HPQ, short 38 even. Now it's at 37.73. Is that a big win? No. but it's a win nonetheless. So the reason I'm going to go over this is because of the chart. It's a multi-day. I was talking about how I won't give up on a trade just because I'm running out of time. I won't move on just because, you know, we have new hot stocks that are moving around. HPQ, as long as I like the level, as long as I like the setup, I will play with it. And 40 is the area that I wanted to play with. Since that day, since the 7th, I've been on HPQ working these 40s from the short side. Obviously, the first day didn't work out, but every day after that, it's been working out just fine, right? So we've been working against these 40s pretty much because of a failed breakout through there. So on that one day when we got that news, started at 39, went all the way north of 41 into 41.50, and then closed out the 40 again. As long as you got the confirmation the following day, which you did, short, 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 because that's a failed breakout, and that's what we're working. And that's the same one I'm still carrying today at 38. This one has a chance to get to about 37 and change before it hits support. I just want to see how it gets there. If it gets there very quick, I'll sit back and wait. If it just kind of drifts like it's drifting right now, it's probably time to take profit and just call it a day. But for the time being, we are short, and we'll play this one out until the end of the day. Neil?
Thank you, Aruna. I saw some questions in the chat. Someone asking what the news was on Create ID, CRTD. There were a couple of stories. One, they did have a wellness drink that they own that was launched at Urban Outfitters. Also, their CEO giving a talk about brands building traction. That came in midday. And really, that's been the story, is Create ID's on the move. By the way, Veru touched $13. So Create ID certainly on the move there. There was someone asking in the chat about what's going on with Bed Bath & Beyond. Of course, that was earnings this morning. And I'm going to throw it out there, and I'm only saying it because Dominic asked. He specifically asked me, Sean, to tell you to stop trading Apple for some reason. So I'm not sure why, but Dominic said, tell Sean to stop trading Apple. I don't know. Is it because you're long the stock? I mean,
Sean
want Apple
listen,
to go up.
Sean will listen if Tony said stop trading Apple.
All I saw was the question. I don't know the backstory behind it. I just saw.
No, there's no backstory. I mean, what's up, my paisan? I mean, it's just a matter of, it's Italians sticking together. He does realize, and, fellow Green Bay Packer fan as well. But, as owner of the Packers, I will sit here and try to trade Apple one more time. And you're probably right, Dominic. Look, I'm not giving this one nearly the room again at all. Forget about it. I listened to what Arun talked about. We did both like the short into that 170, giving it up to that 171. So, I mean, I understand the risks involved. I mean, I'm literally out of the money now, 5 cents or 6, now 5 cents on this trade. I believe in it. We didn't get loaded back up there. Apple's kind of just barcoding right now, and I just feel like the move is to the north side, especially if this market goes. Apple can't. The thing about it is, Apple can't really deny some of these moves. I mean, what I mean by that is like as the market goes, Apple is part of that in a big major way. So that's kind of like what I'm trying to get at here is that the market, if it continues to bust up, I'm pretty sure Apple's going to go. Now, I didn't get the reload really that I wanted, or not the reload, the average down that I wanted. So this position is going to be relatively calm, needless to say, for this. So we'll see if it can go back to the upside. I'm going to be sitting here around. I mean, you told me not to trade it. I'm making money right now, so you owe me whatever this is. But we'll see there. Good trade on Veru, though. I do have to give Dominic a shout-out for that one and give myself just a slap around because, I mean, I gave this my most frustrating stock. So now when I look at this after 3 long attempts and it breaking through 13, congratulations again to Dominic. Congratulations to everybody, man. I mean, there's so much love for everybody on the show, and there's so much money to go around in the stock market that I just hope that everybody can win all the time, whether or not you're long or short or wherever you are in this market, man. There's lots of opportunities. Don't forget about that. Trade your own book, and I do appreciate that, Dominic. So and I know it's probably a little bit tongue-in-cheek, but I'm going to just continue to do what I'm trying to do here. We just did have right there a 15-cent winner, but again, we're waiting for 171. I'd love for it to break it, but ultimately, we're just trying to throw some cash around here, see what happens late in the day.
Yep. Strength in the NASDAQ. Let's take a quick look at what the NASDAQ, at the top of the list. I'm looking at the top NASDAQ weights, right? We're looking at Apple at 1.7, Amazon 3.26%, and that's not even the biggest leader. NVIDIA up 3.5%. What is NVIDIA doing? NVIDIA wasn't.
It's nothing. It's the same thing as AMD. It's just.
NVIDIA got crushed the other day.
That's why I feel like today on another strong day in the NASDAQ that it's like revenge day a little bit for some of those beat-down names. I mean, that's why AMD, I feel like right now, it's going to be up the same 3.5 or so percent. Only 2.6. So again, AMD kind of coming back up to that 98 level. I mean, I don't want to be long Apple and short AMD, although that is kind of what I've been doing. Let's just see if it works now. But yeah, good point there about NVIDIA if you want to have a quick look at that.
Yeah, I'm just looking at NVIDIA. NVIDIA's obviously had a rough ride in the last little bit, but it's bouncing. Support levels are there, but it's a wide range too. I don't know how you can even play NVIDIA, even though it's got a bright, it's got a chance, but you got to use 200 as the marker. Can you go long at 215, putting in 200 with an expected topside resistance of 230? That's a hard trade to make. Although it's up 3.5%, up $7 on the day, that's a tough trade. We'll keep an eye on NVIDIA and how it plays through this 200, but definitely there's some big movement here. NVIDIA, Tesla, 3%.
Oh, shoot.
Amazon, 3.3, and then you don't really have a whole lot that are, nothing's, okay, Facebook, the slowest one going up right now, only up 0.81%. So Facebook obviously having a slower day than the rest of the names in the tech index. And then once you go to the S&P, what have you got? You've got JP Morgan at the top of that list, down 3.3. And then the other one that's down, surprise, surprise, another bank, BAC, down 0.83. And it's leaders, Home Depot and MasterCard. In terms of weighting, and when I mean leaders, I'm talking about specific index-weighted leaders. So index-weighted names that are at the top that are going to have more influence on these indexes than other names will. That's why I'm choosing these ones specifically. But HD doing well. But as anyone would know, if you guys have watched in the past, HD is completely blacklisted from my trading list. I do not trade it because I am horrendous with it. Absolutely horrendous. Moderna was blacklisted when vaccine names were hot, and HD is the exact same thing for me on a regular basis just because it is way too difficult for me to get a handle on HD and how it moves. Even though it's a $300 name, for whatever reason, I just don't have a good time with HD and the way it moves. So I may just go and trade in the opposite direction. Lows, why not? Let's play with lows. But again, that's for another day. We'll just let that one go. It's nowhere near anything, a decision point that needs to be made. Maybe through 212, that could be an option, but for the time being, we're not going to do anything here anyways. We're just going to wait for this market to go. It's at 43.5 right now. We're reaching those same areas where there was resistance yesterday. 43, 45 into 50 was a problem in the afternoon. So what do? Let's just, that's probably not going to help. Let's go to the 60-minute chart. And what do you got here? Actually, that's too far out. So you do need maybe a 30-minute, I don't know. You need something smaller but wide enough to see the afternoon activity. It's around noon. It's pretty much right here. It's right about here. That 45 to 55 area brought some volume yesterday, yesterday, and see if we can get some action around there again. But again, I'm not doing anything on these markets, right? We're not going to touch it at these prices. Only read I could potentially make is a short, but that's not ready yet. So we're just going to leave it alone and come back tomorrow. Maybe we have something then.
This is honestly cracking me up. Like there's too much here. Like shout out to Justin Vanelli right now. He heard that Tony once opened a short position on the entire U.S. economy. What followed was commonly known as the 2008 financial crisis. So there we go for that on Tony. So congratulations. Although I think in 2008 Tony was maybe 10 years old, something like that. So there we go. Tony making damage to the U.S. economy at such a young age. I mean, this guy is honestly...
Hey, he slapped a doctor when he was born.
That's what I'm saying. Like, what kind of a guy is this? What have we unleashed?
We have never seen a man like Tony
before. I started talking to him, I was like, okay, this guy's something special, right? We brought him on the show, and he wowed everybody. Right? And now we see what he's been doing in the midday show. I have a feeling he may be back on that show tomorrow. So we'll watch out for Tony coming through. Thank you so much for all the love for him as well. And we really appreciate that. Okay, well, we are now reloaded. Just like Dominic said, go over to something you do best. There it is, man. We took that Facebook short off these highs of the day and then just started to cash it in. Just started to cash it in a little bit here as it's starting to come down. The reason why I'm starting to cash now, I think it can go lower now. Shout out to everybody, man. If if anybody's watching, let's get up to that 1,000 likes today. If not for Tony, then for me and Arun. But let's go here and look at Apple. We did take some out. This is crazy, these wicks, but Apple right now approached it. We did get a 75 or 78, and then we also got a 67 or something. The market is still going to the high side, but yeah, Apple's definitely not as strong, and it looks stupid with those wicks there. And again, I apologize, guys. Unfortunately here, for compliance reasons, and I've tried to go to battle for our charts, as I know you have as well, and it's just, can't get rid of those wicks. Unfortunately, I know it screws up the whole chart, but there it is. There's the long right there at 50 and out in the 70s. So far, so good for the Apple long. And then right now, we are starting to cash in a little bit on FB here. So I'm going to put another bid out right now for that trade. See if we get another bid at the 50 level to come back in. There it is, runs that over as well. Yeah, this is a good day, man. So far, so good today as the market's trying to reel back in a little bit here. We'll see. Although the market, is taking out new highs. What is the S&P doing? Still the same thing, 1.14%. Let's go over to Ford. We'll do that for Randy there because Ford, 1550, still at day's high. Ford's going to be a trade for tomorrow because there's that 1580. I forget who it was. Shout out to whoever sent me a message yesterday. And again, I check my tweets, right? Like a direct message. Dude was smoking a cigar on his patio looking at charts. And we didn't talk too much about it, but just about this Ford breakout that I like this 1580. So if you come over here, Fahad, yeah, there it is. Beautifully, nicely done. This 1580 right here is a level that I want to look at for Ford. The minute we break this, I think it's higher highs coming, not higher highs, but definitely into this area, 16 and change, 1660. So I believe there's $1 at least in there on that break. Might not happen the same day, but give it a week or so, and I believe Ford breaks higher. It might happen overnight, and if it does, then this is going to become support. So we're looking at that 1580 as a breaking spot there for Ford.
All right, as I'm looking at the market,
I do
before we get to the market, Tony, the smooth operator, coming to a show near you tomorrow. But for now, back to the futures, not doing a whole lot. Back to my stocks, Walmart up, Upstart bouncing back up, I guess. I mean, that's a lost cause today, it seems like. But again, 90 is going to be the break point on Upstart. So if we break through 90, we'll walk away. But that's the daily read on that. With the strength that we're getting today, obviously the shorts are going to get run over, right? Not obvious, but that's what's happening. Let's be real about it. Any shorts that I took today have been taken right to the back, and not in a good way. So we're just going to leave it alone, and we're going to come back, let Walmart keep going up, and maybe we can reduce the damage a little bit. Crowd obviously is not going to help my case. Crowd's taking my day down the drain. So regardless of what happens with the rest of them, it's not going to be positive for me anyways. But I can do damage control on the rest and see at least if maybe I can lose a little bit less than it is, especially after crowd. So with the strength in the futures, we're going to wait for these imbalances at 350. We've got about 25 minutes before that happens. And then we're just going to essentially just wait this one out. Maybe there's a batch of volume that comes in. Remember, tomorrow could easily be quiet because of the type of day. You're going into a long weekend. So tomorrow could be quiet. Maybe towards the end you get options movement. But today, for the most part, you could look for end of day activity. And hopefully that's the case. It brings some volume, some imbalances that are helpful, and then we go from there. But in the meantime, we'll go to Neil.
Thank you, Arun, there. I just wanted to point out VRNS, Verona Systems, breaking out at the high of the day here. They got a Barclays upgrade and price target was increased. But there's another sneaky reason I wanted to bring the stock up, and it's because Fahad, well, you guys were talking there just now. Fahad, who's getting into trading, he's on our production crew, was asking about if a stock is barcoding, does that mean it's reached a top? No, it just means it's consolidating. Can it come off a consolidation? Stock can go anywhere. But if the trend has been to the upside, oftentimes you can get a breakout. In this particular case, VRNS is a great example of that. Yesterday's double top high was at $50. You got to $50 and started barcoding. But when the sellers, that's buyers and sellers finding equilibrium when it goes sideways. But when the sellers don't win, there's only one way for it to go up, and that's a trend that it was already making. So you saw that just break out here. It's very similar to when Sean's talking about that breakout looming in Ford, or looking at what Rivian was doing in yesterday's action. So sometimes that sideways coil can have you breaking out like it just did on VRNS.
Be the Bird asking, who's Fahad? I keep hearing his name. What, Fahad? Show him the camera. Show him what you got. Fahad there. on the
Might not be
production
ready,
side,
might not be ready.
He'll get it there. He's on the production side. He's the one who's making crazy bets on his phone, apparently, and learning. He made his first live trade, I think, soon. Or no, he's actually in simulator working on his own stuff. There's Fahad there working on the production side of things. So that's the guy we're referring to. He controls the cameras, and if he doesn't like what we're saying, he's just going to cut our mics. So be nice to Fahad and make sure that
Cut their damn mics.
Yeah, be nice to Fahad anytime we talk.
Okay. Yeah, not much going to be here for Ford. I see people talking about AMC. Probably rumors here. Adam Aaron, I guess, speaking tonight. I don't know where, but people are talking here that it's here and it's forgotten by us. It's not forgotten by us. I mean, how many trades? I've made a lot of trades today, over 200 trades, and traded 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 names. But AMC today is not one of them. We do normally look at it. So, yeah, I guess it is technically forgotten by us a little bit here. A nice move to the upside. I did look at it early, guys, for AMC. And again, it's been a drastic move to the downside here from $34 about 2 weeks ago, chopped in half right now. Nice 5% move. And when AMC gets going, it definitely gets going. So definitely something to look at. I did want to look at the 20-minute here. It was kind of, I don't really want to look at 19 because that's a little ways away. So yeah, the 20 is not going to help me out. It's nice because it just broke that right there. So I don't know, maybe Neil, if you find anything on AMC, not that we don't trust our viewers here, but that's a nice little move back up there. It's not crazy volume. So that's the one thing that worries me a little bit. The volume's not crazy there. So if there is any sort of rumors about anything, I feel like it would have picked up a little bit more. But again, this actually looks to me like a short. Here if it breaks back down through 1827. But again, if you're long right now, it's not that far away. I don't think you get out right now if it breaks 1827. But just that was the previous high. That's where it broke it down. So, you do have some love there at 1825, call it. Nice little top of 1850. I think that will go long if it takes this out. So let's go long if we take out this high, new high, 1842. So I am going to be on this. So let's get ready to rock and roll right now. Put the orders in to go long on a break of 1842 and then give it back to here, 1825. So let's see if there is anything to this. If anybody might have it, it's going to be Neil. What's up?
Well, I mean, I can't make any promises. What I can tell you is there is a lot of social media chatter, as usual, with AMC behind this particular move. So I'm not really seeing anything but that's specifically on AMC. There's nothing that's actually across the wire. It is worth mentioning. We were talking about it this morning when it was breaking out. And I do think there's something to what Arun was mentioning just maybe like an hour or so ago, talking about options expiration happening tomorrow and not on Friday. So you might see some movement happening late in the day, but there's nothing specific to AMC. There was a story at 6 a.m. today where they had picked up an additional 7 locations and it was like 66 total screens. And at the time, I didn't think that was, the reason behind, the pop and drop, the pop and then run that it did in the morning. Because that was, like I said, that story came out at 6 a.m. and the stock didn't do anything until the open. But it could have something to do with that options expiration you mentioned, Arun.
Yeah, and that's typically, on a quiet week like that, all of a sudden that's going to look like a big event. But on a typical month, options expiration, unless it's a quarterly options expiration, it'd be like quad witching or something like that, then you get an explosive amount of activity. But on a typical options expiration month, so pretty much 2 months out of the quarter, it's unusually high, but at the same time not blowing out of the water kind of high. So we'll keep an eye out on how the volume comes in. It's going to be shown in the imbalances anyway. So what I'll do here is actually go over these imbalances because, hey, I do this every time. What are imbalances? When we refer to imbalances, and the only reason for everyone who's watched this many, many times, because I do this every time, just bear with me, because we've always got new viewers, right? So I got to kind of let people know when we refer to this little indicator here, it's what we're seeing here. So the imbalance locator essentially gives you a kind of a way to see what the final closing price, the amount of shares, and how much pressure is going to be put on the stock towards the official closing price, right? So everyone sends an order. If they want to participate in the official closing price, they send an on-close order tag, so market on close, limit on close, and they want to participate with the official closing price from the exchange. Then you essentially, all those orders are then put into the imbalance locator, or what we call the imbalance locator here at Day Trade the World, and it looks something like this. essentially what you have is on the left-hand side, you have your symbol, then the direction, the size of the imbalance, and how many shares have been matched apart from the size of the imbalance, right? So if you add the matched shares plus the size, that's a total imbalance print. That should roughly be where the print should come off. And that updates at 350. That information is sent out at 350 every day, and you get a running total, and you essentially get an updated total constantly until about 355, at which point then floor orders are then inserted into this imbalance locator. So you'll see a big change in these numbers. And then from there on out until 4 o'clock, you essentially get these numbers updating. And that only really makes a difference. You get these numbers all the time, but that only ever makes a difference. As I say, this Veru taking out 14, yeah, it is starting to accelerate to the upside. Clearly, I made a mistake by getting out at 11:47, but now 14:31 on Veru. So these imbalance indicators and imbalance numbers only matter if they're larger or large enough relative to the daily volume of the stock. If Veru comes out and has an imbalance of, given how thin it is, if it has an imbalance of like 5 million shares, although it might be tiny compared to the volume, it's fairly large given what the level 2 looks like, right? So it's gonna be important to see what these sizes are relative to their daily averages and what the current level 2 looks like. So definitely something to keep an eye on. We'll give you an update at 350 when these numbers actually do come out.
All right, so just a big shout out here to Dominic. What's up, Dominic? Check out what we just did right here on Apple. A nice little move to the upside right now. I'm going to hold out and see if we do get that bigger move here that we are looking for in AAPL. So good chance that it goes now. So we're going to watch out for that, and just to see what happens here with Apple. We just took our last, not our last, but a piece out right there as it comes right up to that 170. That's a 50-cent winner for us on Apple. So happy for sure. With the way this name is traded here. Apple to the upside. AMC as well, man. We did take that. It stopped at 50, so we take a piece out. Now we'll see if it can go. We are into AMC. We told you that. I told you that that was a name that I don't want to get into here. So Apple, AMC right now, two names that we're looking at. We just did. Facebook just went up, so we took a short right there. Again, we reloaded it at 85. Got out at O's, so a 15-cent hit there. Not much to talk about. But as the market's now starting to go, I feel like this 50-cent winner now for Apple, let's just get it back through. This, if you're in this trade with us, look, there's size. Well, now it's gone. There was size there at O's, but that was never going to mean anything, and that's what I was going to say. Apple's 60 million shares. There's about 100,000 there. So right now you are taking out the high of the day. Let's see where Apple goes. And I like the name, and we'll just see, how high can this name continue to go now. May pull back, at any time. We don't know. But we're going to wait on this AMC in case this does moon. And again, we're going to be getting back out here at 25. So realistically, we're in at 42. It just stopped at 50, which is why we took a piece out there, but because it came back through. Let's just wait to see if it gets going. We're taking about a 20-cent worth of a risk, so we need this thing to at least get into the 70s or 80s before we do anything with it. So that's what we're looking at, and let's go over there. It looks like Veru, is that still popping? Oh my God, 14 right now? We were long, we're not anymore. What's up, Neil?
Yeah, the timing is perfect because you were just talking about AMC, and I wanted to bring GameStop to everyone's attention. So if AMC runs, sometimes GameStop goes. It's up 5% as well, but it's where it is that matters. If you pull up like a longer-term time chart, you can see yesterday's high. This 152 level is being tested as we speak. And then on the daily, I'll sort of zoom in the daily a little bit more so you can check it out. Yeah, look at the consolidation right at this 152. It's the last 5 days. That's been the high. So you got a 5-day high, double top coming yesterday and today on GameStop, while AMC is also running. Of course, there's no specific news in either of these names, but when we talked about it, we've mentioned here early options expiration. When these start to go in concert, sometimes you just got to get out of the way.
Out of the way, she said. Move. Well, there goes the futures. Lieutenant Yeager asking about the futures. At this point, you see the direction, right? And we're not going to do anything with it. We can't go long. We can't go short. There's nothing to do. Yeah, it just popped from 48 to 45. Looked like there was a cross down there. It's got its strength. It's got its direction. It wants to go in one way, so respect it. For the time being, no more trades on the futures today, or no trades at all on the futures today, actually. So we're just going to wait all we can do is let today settle in, and we'll come back to it tomorrow. It doesn't mean just because you're sitting here, and it's a hard thing to do, especially as day traders, because I've felt like this in the past too, where if I'm sitting here, I gotta do something. I've gotta make a trade because that's the only way it's worth it, right? But when it comes down to it, reads aren't set up every single day, especially when it comes to the futures, which is a completely different beast, right? Because you're looking at one specific thing. You can't just move from stock to stock to find the read that you want. In this case, these reads don't set up every single day. There's certain areas that you want to work with. Once you get into that area, you work the trade, you put up everything you need to put up, you take your shots, and then once it backs away from that area, you just sit back and wait for another chance, right? That's all you can do when it comes to trading the futures. Now that's my approach, and I found that for me, that was a much easier approach than scalping futures. I know there are some very successful scalpers on the futures out there. I can't do it. I'm a horrendous scalper. So I do not have the capacity to scalp. This is what's easier for me, and I think that's what everyone has to figure out for themselves is what's your best approach? What works for you? Are you a scalper? Are you a position trader? Obviously, we're doing this on an intraday basis, and there's different ways to make money. But for me, I find this to be easier for me, which is just position up when we get the setup in certain areas. And other days, I'm just sitting here waiting and doing nothing, right? And in today's case, after doing really well yesterday on futures, going for the shorts, kind of building up the shorts and taking them into the end of the day. With today's move, I haven't touched the futures because of the strength. Yeah, I've been playing the stocks, but I haven't touched the futures because of the strength, even though we're in a sell zone. So here I am waiting for this market to kind of give me something. It probably won't be today. It definitely won't be today, actually, because we got about 20 minutes left before the equity market closes. So we'll come back tomorrow. There's still one more day left before the week is done. It's a day before a long weekend. So we'll see what this market brings for us tomorrow, and we'll just save our bullets for another day.
Yeah, I mean, and that's, that advice right there is worth everything, because not every day does something set up. I mean, and that's exactly, preach on. I mean, that's exactly the whole point is that you got to have your levels, you got to have key areas that you're looking at. And again, congratulations to everybody on Veru, as that's still making moves to the upside right now. 14, well, not right now, but we're still north of 14. We were. Anyways, now it's starting to come back down. Yeah, I've been long and out every time. Able to get a little bit out there. That was the last one. I don't know why, but now it's just straight to the upside. So a good little take there for us on that one. Here we go. Now we're starting to get, so we put another offer at 50. Ooh, come on, AMC. You can do this, man. Let's see if AMC can get going to the upside. I actually have an offer besides that one at 50, again, just because. We have our next offers at 67 and then higher. So we're thinking that we can get a little bit higher than this on AMC right now. So that's going to be something to look at. And then I'm trying to anyways, fade this move with Facebook a little bit. The market's up 2.5 or 2.25, and Facebook right now is trying to get higher, but we have this high of the day of 215 that was already put in there. Now that I look at that, it seems, oh, that's right, sorry, 216.50. So that 216.50, the new high of the day there, and we're going to try to respect that. So if it does break it, we're going to be gone. But right now, let's just fade this move that's happening in the market right now. Arun already went over the imbalances. I don't know, Prad's not here, but maybe we can get a financial juice update on those imbalances. But again,
we got it. 406 sell.
Oh, you have it. 406 to sell right now. So it's something that Arun looks at. So there you go. 406 to sell on there. But
to be fair, take it with a grain of salt, because this thing's updating faster than it's being posted.
Right.
Right. So.
Yeah, and that's the other thing. He's posting it. I think the dude posts it
every
5
to 10
minutes.
Yeah.
But realistically, if you're on the floor, you're getting an active update. But there's really no need for it to be crazy today. If anything, it might be tomorrow on the options expiration. So there's lots happening here. But for now, we'll just wait to see what happens with these expirations and so on and so forth. But what's up, Neil?
So we got Fed Waller with a few comments out here. I think we're going to like a couple of things that he said here. First things, a high inflation in CPI report was not surprising. He also said the Fed will continue with its plan to raise rates, reducing accommodation to get inflation under control. But he's also said March CPI is pretty much the peak. So you have a member of the Fed saying that inflation has peaked, despite the fact saying they still want the 50 base point hike, and not saying they're going to change any plans, or at least Waller's not saying they're changing any plans. But I think that's the first time I've heard anybody out of the Fed use the word peaked with regards to inflation.
If inflation doesn't cool, Fed will keep raising rates. Yeah, I think we know about that one. He also said it's completely feasible to avert a recession. So, okay, we'll see. But anyways, on those negative news, I don't even know if it's negative or not, but we'll just cash it out. We'll go bang on that last little bit there for Facebook, for Apple, sorry. On the long rate there, 170.50, we talked about that break. We have it. All these out, some in the 70s, one in the 80s, and then two at the top side right there. But there goes Apple to the downside. Now let's just hope that we can get a complete crash here in Facebook, because we're loaded back up again on this short for Facebook. So here we come back into the downside. Let's just put some more on the bid. It's not, I don't know why it's not going down more than I thought it would here, but maybe if Facebook does get this move going, that's something to look out for. And on that note, like AMC right now, if this market is going to come back down, definitely not a name that we want to be. I mean, it's not that AMC is going to follow the market, but I'd rather be net short than try to hold on to this one. So we're going to get out a little bit there at 45. Hey, if it continues to work, we'll hold it, but just lightening up the load a little bit there, and then just going back over to Facebook, because this is the name here that if the market does come back in, I really think now that we've taken some profit there at 216 off of our short, I mean, it's only 20 cents. So now we got to sort of think about waiting for this downside right now. So if we can get some downside moves down to 215.60, something like that, then we should be good to go on Facebook right now. So that's what we're looking at here, 215.60, something like that for Facebook, especially, you know, if this market does want to make that move to the downside. Obviously, Facebook should follow, so let's see what comes here. You did say it was a sell imbalance, so we have 6.5 minutes until that does come to fruition.
Yeah, 6.5, well, we think it's a sell imbalance, but that's based on what somebody on Twitter who has been somewhat accurate for the most part. Also, it's not really up to them. I think they're just grabbing the info off of the board there at the exchange and posting it. So here we are kind of just waiting for this market to give us something. 350 is when this information gets put out for everybody. This will be an update. So just because the board says, or wherever the information is being brought from, says that it's a sell, doesn't necessarily mean it's a sell. That's based on the information available. There's a lot that's not available, right? So we're just waiting for these imbalances to come out. As I'm watching this market, futures came off a little bit, caught a bit at 45, now back to 47. So clear buy strength there. You're starting to see Walmart come off a little bit. Remember, I'm long Walmart at 153. We're trading at 157. And if there's a buy imbalance on Walmart, hands off. If there's a sell imbalance on Walmart, out the door. Thank you very much, because it's been a long trend all day. This is a trend. Yes, the market has done the same, but this is the trend. This is the one I've caught. So if we get a sell imbalance, I don't want to get caught in the wash with everybody then looking to take profit, because now all of a sudden everybody wants to sell on the close. So we'll be smart about it, walk out the door. We've already cashed out some for $2. Now we'll see if we can't grab some for $4 in the event we lose the imbalance itself, which comes out in about 5 minutes. Upstart going sideways. Again, same thing with Upstart. As we near the end of the day, and because we don't carry overnight, we've got to be smart about how late we take it, right? At 350, we'll get a pretty good indication of what the momentum is going to be based on what the imbalances are. So if we get buy-side strength, I think it's time to kind of just back off a little bit and against these shorts and just say, you know what, this didn't work out. Clearly it didn't work out. 90 is still going to be the stop tomorrow in the event that we don't break 90 overnight. But we'll just wait for this one, wait for these imbalances. As you can see, I got out of HPQ. HPQ was coming back in a little bit. So I just walked away from HPQ, said, you know what, I don't need to hold another short on top of the two that I have that aren't working against this imbalance. So I took my 6 cents, walked away, called it a day on HPQ, and here we are waiting for these imbalances in the next few minutes.
All right, good news now, because AMC, let's go. Let's get Ape Nation going a little bit as we're starting to go back through 53 right now. And there it is right here. A nice little move upside for AMC. We did not ignore it. We took it on that break. We talked about that. Now we're just emptying it out. Obviously, you know, good trade there. We'll just see if it can continue to work to the upside. I did say that my next offer was going to be 67, but again, just heading into these closes, we already short Facebook. We'll just hold it now to see if AMC does have some strength into the close. Looks like it will be. I mean, now we don't have anything to worry about. Even if it comes back down to 30 or something like that, I think we're still fine. So I'm going to wait on AMC and just see what happens here with this name. So yeah, AMC right now working out for us. Facebook still 30 cents in the money. And this JP Morgan, unfortunately we have these wicks here, so it's going to be a little hard to show you. But VWAP is 127.50. That's right where we're at right now. This is another $1.27. I know we already took it out at 128, and we were waiting for a little higher. So right now, with only 13, 14 minutes left, we held this all day, so it's worth a bang right there, and we go bang, bang, bang on that one. You know, I didn't look at Palantir today, actually. So let's just put this out. Get out right now of JP Morgan. It's a great long there and out, still long now, and we're going to get it out for $1.50. So let's just offer JP Morgan. We'll get filled at the offer right now, and then we don't have anything to worry about, and we'll just hope for the market trashing down here so we can get out of our Facebook for a nice winner. So I'm going to exit this out. We only have two and a bit left on this one. So yeah, before the imbalances come through. I don't know if they're looking any good for the futures, but I don't. For right now. Sorry.
They want to look at 44.50 to the upside. It's picking up some steam to the upside. So if these imbalances were to come out sell side, it's going to be an aggressive fallout from 50. If they were to now come out buy side, it'd be a breakout right through 50. Looks like 50 is going to be the inflection point. As I say that, market backs down through 48 one more time as we get closer and closer to the 350 release. Upstart catching a bid, damn it. Walmart catching a sell, damn it. And then what's the other one? Bed Bath & Beyond. Let's take a quick look at what Bed Bath & Beyond.
Damn it's there.
Yeah, I know, right? This is what happens when you're offside on a bunch of positions. That's the thing too, is like, especially with the way I trade, the majority of my winners are already out because I've already cashed them, managed them, and then the ones that never worked out, we're just holding on to because they never hit the stop and they never went in the money. So we're just like, okay, we're just waiting here. And now we got to rely on these imbalances to come out to help us here a little bit. Let's just see Bed Bath & Beyond. Is it coming off a little bit? Yeah. Bed Bath & Beyond coming off a little bit now, taking a look at that 1750. Futures coming off a little bit here at 46.5. Okay. Sell side imbalance. I see you now backing away 3 points or so from that 50 marker. So we'll see if this imbalance comes out of sell. You know this market, especially with the way it's moved up, you know this market's coming down. That's assuming that it comes out of sell. If it comes out of buy, well, yeah, we're going to continue this to the upside. The one thing you do have to be aware of, though, with the way we've moved up, you got to think, hey, at what point do people start taking profit, right? So that's definitely one of those things that's on people's minds, or at least that's on my mind as we enter this 50 area, because this has been a pretty one-way move. At what point do people start taking profit? And when you see that move happen, you know it's going to be quite aggressive. So we'll just wait for it to kind of come through a little bit.
I'm going to spin the wheel here.
Yeah, spin it. Spin that money.
All right, what's it going to come up to? Let's go. There's the spin. What are we going to get to? What are we going to get to? Bang, jackpot. We like that. Hey, it's supposed to be money flying out of that. What happened to that one right there? What's up, Dinesh? What's up to all my Facebook shorters right now? We take that short in, and we are now short 216. You know where I'm short? 216.30 right now on Facebook against that high of the day. And here it comes, Crash City. Let's see what happens to the downside now for Facebook. We told you that we'd get something out there at the 50 period. We also got something out at 77 as that came crashing in. I don't know. Here we go, Arun. Go over to Arun because I don't have the imbalances up. They're coming out right now.
And they are out.
Buy
sell side. Sell side imbalances. Yeah, they backed off a little bit here. So what do we got here? WBD again. Remember, the day it was spun off, it came out a buy. Now it's a sell. 3.4 million shares, 5.8 paired. And that's what happens to the futures when it comes out of sell. We fell off from 48 just before these imbalances came out. We went as low as 42, 6-point move to the downside. Zynga on the table as well, 2.5 million shares on the sell side as an imbalance. Uber up there now, buy side 1.9, Palantir 1.3. Nielsen's been there every day pretty much, sell side 1.3. Unusually large amounts for names that we don't typically see, specifically Zynga. Is something going on with Zynga that, you know, maybe something's coming out soon? I don't know when their earnings schedule is, but Zynga, man, 2.5 to the sell side. It hasn't done anything. How much has Zynga done on the day? 17 million. Okay. Yeah. 2.5 million on a 17 million with this type of movement is not going to do anything. So move on from that. WBD was a big one because I remember the day that it came out of buy, it did move quite a bit. So how's WBD doing? 41 million shares, so 10% of the day's volume. Sell side, you're seeing the pressure here. WBD fell from pretty much 27 down to 26.30. So WBD's got to be one that you got to keep an eye on. Uber, obviously everyone knows Uber. Uber is 16 million, 2 million share imbalance. Not that big of a deal, I would imagine. And then Palantir. So keep an eye on WBD. It seems like that's going to be the big one to watch. But again, 355, that's when the next update happens, and that's the one we got to pay attention to. If WBD stays after 355, this could get very, very spicy because you're already seeing the movement. That's an ugly chart. Let's go to this one. That's the 1 minute chart on WBD, and you can see the move off the imbalance. There you go, right here. 2667 is where we started at 350. We went as low as 2605. There you go, imbalance influence right there. So we'll keep an eye on this as we get to 355 and then into the close.
Spit it. Money. I mean, there it is, man. Did it come up jackpot? Yes, it did. And there it is. Shout out to Dinesh. Shout out to everybody there. Shout out to everybody short WBD as well. Again, Warner Brothers Discovery, new name, new damage being done to that stock on the imbalances, of course. But look what's the damage is being done on Facebook, man. WBD might be going down pennies. This just went down $1 right now. We are now $1.30 in the money on Facebook as it is collapsing into the close. So a good number there. We're still positive on the day, but look at this. Just an absolute beast of a move to the downside here. Rocketing up, man. We are at our highest spot we've been at all day right now. I'm going to put another bid out, whatever. Give me those 06s, and then thank you, and please come again on that short tomorrow, Facebook or long. Who knows? I did not get those 06s right there. So, okay. Let me put another bid out here. Will I get 16s? Yes, I will. Let's see if it comes back down and fills us now at 06 right there. I'm on the bid. Come on. I'm on the bid at 06. Go through us. There it goes. I'm assuming we got that fill. Yes, we did. So there it is, man. And again, you know, sometimes you might want to hide your shares on the level 2 or not. This looks pretty thin. Like if I was bidding there with like a couple thousand, which I wasn't, you know, you may, and I don't know, there's so much volume here that I don't think it's a problem to take it out. It's just watch out. Sometimes if you see big orders on the level 2, sometimes that will influence the stock as well. But just as an update, man, we're only into 30% left of this trade right now. Shout out to Hydration Nation, Arun. I just saw you do that. So let's go Hydration Nation right now. There we go. We'll hit that. Aqua, the refreshing taste of Wata coming through right now. So, yeah, look, good day today, man. Arun, we have you for one more day.
And then Tony takes over. There you go.
And then it's Tony Toronto. Tony the Trader, Tony Toronto. We have to have so many more names for Tony coming through now. And I want to give a big shout out to Tony. Also a big shout out, Ian, Brandon, Luca, all absolutely amazing as well on that midday show. So I got to say, shout out to that. Apparently Apple right now, I don't know if Neil brought this or not. I don't think he did, but doesn't matter. It's not. MacBook shipments delayed after lockdown. So nothing to do with Apple coming down in here. Obviously, the market's puking back, so is Apple. And again, good thing we got out of that way. Just double check, Arun. We do this all the time. Make sure you don't have any stop orders out or anything like that for orders. And I just double checked as well because I was like, oh, maybe I have a bid here for Apple just in case, but I don't. So Apple puking down here and a little bit of a move back up here for Facebook. You're going to get the 355 refresh here.
Yeah, it's no surprising, though, the market's coming off. I mean, like sell and balance paired with end of day after running up this strong. People are taking profit. Makes perfect sense. Here we go, 355. What do we got on the updates? Show my screen, guys.
Ooh.
What do we got?
Looks like Facebook just went down.
WBD is still staying there. 2 point. Oh, no, it's back to 3.7. So WBD getting some action here. A lot of action, actually. 8 million paired, almost 4 million shares on the imbalance. They got bigger after the floor update. Okay, and Uber is there. 2 million shares. Uber and WBD, but WBD is going to be the big one because of the size of its imbalance. Neil.
Yeah, only a few minutes to go here. We do have some earnings coming through with JP Morgan this morning. We have Bed Bath & Beyond as well, but the rest of the banks coming through, as you can see, Citi, Morgan, Goldman, and Wells Fargo, but they are not alone. Remember, Rite Aid was under pressure a couple of weeks ago. They are on tap as well. So a few interesting names coming through on the earnings board.
And that's a lot of banks.
All that kind of stuff. Rite Aid. Yeah, that's what I was saying. It's the big guys tomorrow. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, all on the left there. You've include PNC. I mean, it's just boom, boom, boom. It's going to be, like I say, murderer's row tomorrow for bank stocks. I did not add anything today. I talked about waiting to see what the other banks were doing. I was going to add JP, but we didn't. We just took that out right there, JP Morgan, at 127.33 for a big win for us as well. Unfortunately, that WBD, I didn't realize you need shares. You need shortable shares. So I tried to get short there, and I don't have enough shares. So it's too late. I don't want them now. It's not that it's too late. It's just whatever. You should have been shorting before. I did not have any shares. This is not a shortable name in our database, so WBD. But I couldn't, Arun, honestly, the way that this market just fell off there and we hit this Facebook, I wish I did have more discipline and able to hold this. But there it is, man, right back into these levels again for Facebook. So, I mean, I've got 99 problems, and a long isn't one. As you can see, all of these are all shorts, man, including this one down to the bottom again. So good trading here today. I could tweet this out, but like unless you're on the show, you don't really, maybe can't follow this. But it's a nice little move for me on Facebook. I'm so super happy. My voice is like done right now. But thank you so much for joining us here again today. It's been a super, super fun name. JP Morgan's at 52-week lows. It doesn't bode well for the banks tomorrow.
WBD, we're going to keep an eye on this. I've isolated WBD on its own here. It's nearly 10 million shares going to be the print here because I'm seeing 9.6 paired, 200,000 left to still sell. Like Sean said, you got to pay for the shorts. So it's getting smaller and smaller with most of it being paired already. And here it goes to the downside, now breaking through 26. So, WBD flipped to a buy, but keep an eye on this one here. It's going to do something fancy. It gets fancy at the end. A lot of these names, they like to, especially the ones that you got to get the shorts, you got to pay for the shorts. Yeah, they're going to get a little extra with themselves with right at the end there. It's flipped to a buy side. Maybe it's oversubscribed. So this happens here when it's a sell side imbalance and all of a sudden it turns in the opposite direction. So there's too many shorts that are sending buy side offsetting orders that now the imbalance itself has gone buy side. So that happens. That's one of those things that happens. But again, it can still flip back to a sell. We'll keep an eye on this one here as right now it sits at a 500,000 shares on the buy side going into the end of the day, and it's flirting with 26s. Given the way it's trading, I wouldn't be surprised if it actually prints 26 even because of the amount of volume floating around that 26. So I can see that happening as the market now sitting around the 40s. And here we are to the final 90 seconds. As you can see, I am flat. Sean is got one left. He's going to hold on to that Facebook right till the end there. But for the time being, this market has decided that 40 is roughly where we're going to close as the equity markets go to close. Futures market has another 15 minutes after equity closes, and WBD is still flirting with that 26. So it was great at the beginning, but now it's just gone quiet.
Yeah, boom goes the dynamite there. Good call on me holding. That's exactly what I'm doing. Now I only have 5% left, but we just waited for that 85. And now we'll wait to see if it comes back in a little bit here, just for the close. I'm very light on this trade. We can hold a little bit here into the close, so I'm going to do that just to see what happens here as we go down. Yeah, man, it's going to be a bell-ringing kind of day one more time for Tony. So we're going to see that. A big day for him today. Really, really proud of him.
You got to do a dance, Tony.
Very, very, very good. Yeah,
something.
He's dancing now. As we get ready to rock and roll there it is. Oh yeah. Oh, you
don't hurt yourself though.
The thing about it is you don't even see the footwork, like the way this guy John Travolta over there with his moves. So here we go, a nice move down. I don't know what WBD is doing, but we'll look at that after. The countdown does start right now.
There you go, Tony.
We are still in Facebook.
Ooh, I like that.
Oh yeah, there it is. There it is right now. Yeah. Not only don't quit your day job there,
3,
but
2, 1. There you go, Tony.
And that is
He started the day, and now he's ending the day the right way, guys.
All right, so WBD, I don't know how far it went down. I have no freaking idea at all. Facebook, we just got, what the hell just happened to Facebook there? We just got a 214 print there, just waiting for that. So nice trade for me, I guess, on Facebook, because it fell apart at the end of the day there. So a nice little fall down. It was a small amount of shares, whatever. We are at the highest spot.
Veru is going through highs in the aftermarket.
Yeah, what did that WBD do?
26.
26
yeah,
flat. Okay, so
not surprising.
no, that's not it. That's not the trim print. That's a D print. I don't know. Did we have an N print monster? I don't think it printed yet. Maybe WBD.
It's NASDAQ. It's a cute. It's gonna be,
it's a NASDAQ name. Right. So still, that's not the right print. But anyways, we'll see when it comes through. But it should have printed right at 4, right? So
it's the one above it. It's the other 26.
This one?
Yeah.
No, man, that's still a D print. 4. It should have happened right at 4. So hold on a second. Oh, I can't scroll down that low. Yeah. But anyways, maybe Neil had it. Did you find out what that printed at?
I had level 2 up. It did look like 26.
Yeah. Okay.
But like you, I can't scroll any further to double check it myself. But if you didn't enjoy that day, we got to. unbelievable day by Tony and the entire crew. Shout out to Brandon, Luca, Andy, and of course helping Tony out, but absolutely crushing it. And the market crushing it as well. It's always fun to see, but across the board, it's all green. I mean, in this case, I guess it's black. I don't know why it's not green numbers, but S&P, Dow, 1% each. NASDAQ just barely missing 2%, although I'm sure it got there at some point. TSX not doing too much there, but crude oil and Bitcoin, Ethereum all holding up near those highs. We closed at the high of the day. Pretty strong afternoon. We'll take it. It's been a fun one.
Yeah, what a great opportunity there for Veru today for people. Yeah, great day today. I mean, Neil just thanked everybody, so I'm not going to do it again, but I did want to thank Lucas, Fahad, Mark. We talked about that. Thank you to Maggie for running around today and making sure that the shows worked. And then thank you as well to Liz on the social media side of things. Thanks to Neil. Thank you to Arun again. One more day, my man. Arun's going to be back with us tomorrow, Thursday. And then Friday, we're off. So stay tuned for the trade of the day, which was AMD. Nobody remembers. But anyways, whatever it was, I believe it was AMD. Stay tuned for that. But the big earnings tomorrow, man. Banks are on tilt. Again, after that bad report from JP Morgan, down to 127, down that 3%. We'll see what happens tomorrow with banks. It's going to be a big one. Obviously, the NASDAQ is motoring around a 2% day today. Fantastic for that market. But we're excited for tomorrow. It's 8:30. We're the Trader TV Live team. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you then tomorrow, 8:30. Bye.
Bye, guys.